Hey everyone, and welcome to AWBoy'Z episode 4. It's me, your host, Jabroni. I'm joined once again by the Drifter himself.
Yes, that's
Yep.
right. This is a Pro Wrestling Drifter.
A lot's happened. We got a lot to talk about. A lot has happened
Yeah,
since we last talked.
we're in episode 4, and we are now currently covering what feels like a completely different promotion. But yes, go ahead.
Yes. So the last episode was about a Cork and Hall show that we're not even going to really talk about in this episode because so much has changed in the last 2 weeks. I think the announcement was 2 weeks ago that
Mhm.
6 wrestlers had left Actwres Girls along with the general manager Fuka.
Let's make this very clear. 6 performers have left.
6 performers, yeah, 6 performers. And again, we're going to get into a lot of that stuff in the next bit. So 6 performers left and joined up with Ross Yagawa's new startup promotion, Marigold. And it was a surprise to a lot of people. It was something that seemed to happen very quickly. And it's something that really, I think fans of Actwres Girls are almost, they're both like, if you're a long-term viewer, you're someone who's watched for a few years, you're almost used to this kind of stuff happening. But
Yeah.
if you're new, and especially if you're new to Joshi and new to like Rossi Ogawa's way of doing business, it is a pretty shocking because it, according to like Fuka, it was only a couple days beforehand. She went up to Sakaguchi, the director, the representative of Actwres Girls, and pretty much said they were leaving. And that was the day of, or the day before 39 and 40, which were at Shinkiba.
That's right.
That's what happened. But there's more to it when we dig a little bit deeper. And one thing that's amazing, one thing I love about Fuka is that she always just shares her thoughts in her blog. And I was like thinking, oh, she's going to just not do the blog. She's not going to talk for a few weeks. She's just going to focus on starting up the promotion in May because she's now on as like an associate producer or a producer assistant or something now. So she's going to be helping with running the shows. So I figure, okay, she's going to stop doing that. And also she probably wants to stay out of the limelight because she's been under fire for kind of how the 6 left. But diving into but she actually was posting blogs, and her blogs are really like pretty straightforward Japanese that translates pretty good with a translator. And some translators have been, like actual human translators have been digging into it to try to help kind of sift through and figure out what happened. And Fuka said that she tried to float the idea of a partnership with Sakaguchi, and the talent was frustrated, especially since March when it came to like the system and working outside, and you see a lot of different things. So we'll dig more deeper into the things there. And then Sakaguchi apparently said that there was a chance that Actwres wouldn't survive after step 40. And there's some things that kind of corroborate this, especially the fact that step 40 ended with, for some reason, like a dance party where they did their typical songs together. They sang and danced, and instead of having like an actual main event or something, it did feel like a bit of a farewell, but it didn't feel like the farewell it needed to be for what actually was going on. And then just recently, Marty tweeted out something that I don't know if it's more of after everyone left or before everyone left, or maybe they knew something, but it was like a tweet conversation with Act, and it was like she did talk about the potential disbanding at the time and some of the strange stuff. So there may have been that conversation that if they did part with Marigold, that it would potentially reach the end of Actwres Girls. So I know Sakaguchi's dramatic, and this is not the first time.
Yes, I'm always careful with and there is a read on that translation that is a very dramatic Sakaguchi classic of I would rather shut down
Yes.
Actress Girls than do
Yes.
this, which is less of
Yes.
a we're in dire straits, more of a I will take this with me.
Yes.
So be careful, guys. Always be careful with machine translation, and there is like subtlety. I
Yep.
won't say my Japanese is perfect. It's far from it.
Yep.
But sometimes you have to also understand the personalities involved. Like anything, I'm always telling people be careful in English because English is a very sarcastic language that does not translate. I'm going to tell you that right now. Sometimes in Japanese, please be careful with sarcasm when you're tweeting. I'm just going to bring this actually up as a side note. Be careful with sarcasm when tweeting Japanese wrestlers. They might not get it. They might not understand that. So,
Yeah.
yes. So some things don't translate still. Machine cannot help you with some of
Yep.
that. So, but yes,
Especially you have a unique context of Joshi Pro Wrestling. There's no learning, like machine learning, whatever. I think that there was the rhetoric of a shutdown potentially, but I think it was Sakaguchi has done this before in the past. He's used it even as a plot device.
Yes, I believe he should. We are currently in the current, I guess whatever phase of Actress Girls where
I think we're in the 5th phase at this point. I have a list somewhere of the different eras, different generations, and the first season, which was acts 0 through 6, ended with a open-ended question of, is this it? Is this the end? Like, I don't know. Yes. Is it over? Probably. And everyone kind of treated it like it was. You had the end of the season and an uncertainty about whether or not it was going to continue. And it's something that Sakaguchi has done in the past. And like you had 2021 where pretty much, we're no longer wrestling. And it's just people did not understand, even in Japan, did not understand what was going on. And even now, there's still like, I think some of it is more people just trying to instigate and be like, oh, you're not wrestling. Like, but I think that at the time, people were like, well, what's happening? Like, what are you? Yeah. What are you trying to do? So there's just that whole Sakaguchi being Sakaguchi part. And
yes,
it's hard to get a read on him, even in Japanese. And how are we supposed to do it in English?
And a reminder, if anyone's hopping in here for the first time, Sakaguchi is the name of the man who basically runs Actress Girls.
He is
the owner and operator of this whole deal.
Yeah, he's officially known as the representative, but he's the guy in charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to know, if you need it, he is the man running the show.
So on our first episode, I talked about how I have criticisms about Actress Girls, and none of them were about the talent. Most of them are, as much as I hate to say it, because he has brought some really great wrestlers to the limelight. He's really created a cool system, and even the current system is a fun thing to watch as a fan.
Yes.
His practices are really keeping Actress Girls from being something much bigger, and I think something that he would actually like wanted to become. He has his ideas, his thoughts, his mentality about wrestling and art and acting, and it's a bit different than other promotions.
Yes.
He's trying to, I guess, not see it as a wrestling company while also trying to create wrestlers. And when you create wrestlers, you don't have them under contract and there's nothing really stopping them from leaving. It's a pattern that has just completely just recycled itself over and over again. Early on in 2016, I don't know if like a lot of listeners or even modern fans know that Maika Ozaki retired from wrestling in March of 2016.
Yes.
So she retired and she was supposed to be on that Reina show, and then she got pulled. I think she was replaced by Nishina, and she appeared in 6. And then she showed up in July or June in Ice Ribbon. So
as a longtime Ice Ribbon fan, understand that I because of that, I actually consider her more of an Ice Ribbon wrestler in a lot of ways.
Even though she's an Actress original and there's some past stuff even before Actwres, but her Actwres debut was her wrestling debut was in Actwres Girls at Act Zero, May 31st, 2015. But yeah, like that was like a very abrupt retirement because she was supposed to be at the Raina show. She was supposed to be on Act 6, and then like they shot the video package with her in it, and she was no longer there. And it may have just been as simple as, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, and then maybe she missed it a couple months later. I don't want to actually like put that in the more emblematic of Sakaguchi's problems, but it was one of those, it was an abrupt departure.
Yes, and you can. And
like, it would be unfair to consider that, or even to consider Yuki Harima like one of those kind of departures. She just got an opportunity of a lifetime, and now she's like this huge voice actress. So these opportunities come along, and that's like when you are someone like Actwres Girls and you have these very talented women who are just trying to find a job to sustain themselves until the next gig comes along, who are never big wrestling fans. Even though Harima, who's now Aina Aiba, was a huge wrestling fan, and she became a member of Actwres Girls because she was like incorporating professional wrestling in like her acting career.
Yes.
So even then, like they still are looking for more than just wrestling the Shinkiba shows and things like that. So you want to grow as a performer. You never want to stay stagnant. And it's one of those, like, she left after Act 4, well, technically Act 3, but she did participate in Act 4, and she went on to become this mega star. And you want to see that. And like, that's just almost a limitation of professional wrestling, especially in 2015 Joshi wrestling.
Yes.
So, yeah. And then at the end of Act 5, Manase coming out and also saying she's leaving Actwres Girls. And that's another, like...
that was probably the weirdest part of that whole thing.
Yeah.
This felt... I mean, it was very much, in my opinion, that first iteration was... it was a Yuna Manase joint. It was like...
Yeah.
It was, for me, the star of that thing.
She would wrestle 2 shows she would wrestle 2 matches on each show, pretty much, because she would be part of the Black Shine crew usually, and then she would come back later. And like, it was such a Manase project, especially with all the emotion and all that in there. And maybe it was just like, okay, she was signed up for those 7 shows, and it was time for her to move on. Especially, like she said, she had like some injuries, and she wanted to take some time off and wasn't sure if she'd come back. But it really was an abrupt kind of what's happening here. And I know, like, crying in the ring, trying to be like, no, don't do it. And it's there was that. And then at the end of Act 6, it was like, okay, we're done here. I don't know what's happening next. So
my favorite thing on Twitter being at that time, the AGZ is not dead account, which I believe was just like Sakaguchi. And just yes, because that was a weird time. I'm not gonna lie. I did not know what was going on because I was not really following them as closely. I was actually a Reina fan.
Yeah.
I knew,
and I watched it like years later, kind of knowing the context, watching the show. So like, I knew what to I knew it wasn't going to be shocking to me, but I did not get any more context from watching the show. I was just as like, I still don't understand why she did that on Act 5. So no, again, I don't want to say that that's a Sakaguchi thing or a system thing or an Actwres Girls thing. Again, it could have just been the whole, like, just the temporary way that Actwres does employment.
Yes, so, and it left the door open, and we all know kind of Yuna very much did not retire.
No, she was back pretty soon. Like a few months later, and she was actually back at Actwres for the pretty soon after that. So like for at a Rumble or something, so Battle Royale, and it was so she came back, and then she went on to do big things with TJPW, and she's still around today. So those are like those kind of departures that I don't think would really be just emblematic of the system, just more of like actresses and wrestling as a gig, more so than like the early acting shows where you'd have people come in for 1 or 2 shows and just leave. It really was the same thing, but a few years earlier in Actwres instead of Actwring. And then
yeah, I mean, let's look at who came in during this generation, this last iteration.
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
pretty much gone relatively quickly. Yeah.
we'll get a little into that, I think, later, because I want to
Yeah.
focus more on the future of Actwring
Sure.
as we get
Yes.
deeper in.
Sure.
So I think that's a big thing because they're going to have a show in May, and they've released the participant. So we'll dive into that too because I think it's important to get that big picture too. And then going back to the past, Tam Nakano was in Actress Girls.
Yeah, you know
And
what? The Stardom's ace.
yep, former double champion, big important person, one of the biggest wrestling stars in the universe. Just
Yeah.
ask her; she'll tell you.
Yeah, Tam Tam. You know,
Tam
she's
Tam,
powered by salad chicken, and you have to
she's
respect that.
just always been one of my faves, and
Oh yeah, I've always enjoyed
her
her.
in Actress, interesting stuff. I mean, she was not the wrestler she is now, obviously,
No.
but very it was very rough early on, but she left pretty quickly, as quickly as
Yeah.
she showed up, I feel like. And that departure, not as crazy as some of the ones we're going to get to, because right now, if you can tell, I'm going through the departures, the ones that have had a little bit of drama behind them. And
Yes.
so her departure, it was abrupt in the sense that she, like, after a show, I'm done with Actress Girls, I'm moving on. And
Yes.
after the show, she on an old blog.
As a side note, that was something I completely missed because I was definitely watching the scene at the time, and I think I saw her at it wasn't even like a Stardom show. It was like I can't remember. It might have been a DDT or something, like a Gompro or whatever.
Yeah.
I just assumed she was still an Actress Girls, I think. And I was just like, hey.
Yeah, I think she did a little bit of solo stuff for a little bit, and then ended up in Stardom officially.
Yeah. And then even then was not
she did
signed exclusively to Stardom for a bit there.
Yep. Yeah, it was a little bit like because she started in. Did she start in the 5-star? Was that what happened? Was the 5-star Cinderella tournament? It was one of the tournaments where she came into.
Yeah.
And and then like I think a few weeks later she was officially in.
Yeah.
So but it was one of those things. If you blinked, you'd miss it because it was a low fanfare. Like she's gone, she left. And then I went back to some blogs, and she said like she wishes she had the opportunity to say goodbye to Actress Girls, and it's something that is kind of echoed now to the women who have left to go to Marigold. So that's something that like I was like, oh wow, like that is interesting the way that happened. I'm like, again, I'm not going to blame Sakaguchi specifically for that departure either or anything, because obviously a big opportunity came along the horizon very quickly for her. But it's just more of like it's more of like just more of the way that the system works. If you're not going to give people these like long-term contracts and you're just expecting them to stay with you based on whatever loyalty or just something, if something comes along and they feel like they have a small opportunity to jump for it, they'll probably jump for it if there's no legal binding. And it's, even in Japan where it's, you have a lot more of a loyalty is a lot more of a thing there. It's still professional wrestling. It's still a business. It's still the entertainment industry. It's still very cutthroat, and people are still going to make these hard choices to bet on themselves because they know that like if their option is to stay where they are and do what they're doing, run the Shinkiba shows and all that, or they can possibly go elsewhere and ride the wave of whatever Stardom was doing at the time. And it ended up working out really well for her. So it's it is what it is. And then this one is a big departure. Was Natsupoi, Natsumi Maki.
Yes.
That was one that had so much drama around it.
That was that one I'm well aware of, yes.
This is the one where I'm like, I understand the mentality of just saying, we're leaving, goodbye, because of what happened to Natsupoi in this situation. Because I feel like she did everything, I mean, as right as you could.
Yes.
And to have Hota, even though Hota's not even there, do what she did, if you want to explain more, because you were there, you were
Yeah.
you were
So what had happened was, and I remember I was following a little closer. Again, I was not watching Actors Girls regularly, but I was following closer because I saw a lot of the talent. And she had announced it, I believe, at least a month before that she's leaving Actress Girls. I am done here. I'll be leaving soon to become a freelancer. And I was like, okay, yeah, makes sense. She was popular. She's getting work everywhere. I was like, now's the time. And then obviously, she had gotten the Tokyo Joshi deal lined up. This was known to obviously her, and was a secret, I believe, kept from Actress under the terms that she was leaving. That oh, you're going to leave to be a freelancer? Okay, we understand. That's fine. And then somehow it had gotten out, and it's wrestling. It happens.
Yep.
And during the show that she's supposed to appear on, number one, she pulled out of a show. At the beginning of the show, I believe, Ota came out and basically dropped a bomb that oh yeah, she's leaving for Tokyo Joshi. She'll be lied to us, and then this led to all kinds of legal repercussions. Obviously, that this is now technically causing trouble for Tokyo Joshi because they had plans to debut her obviously as a big surprise.
Yep.
And that was obviously no longer a thing because that surprise had been ruined by a very spicy Yumiko Hotta. Which that is who Hoda is. I've come to accept that at this point. She's a legend, and she does not hold back. They caused a lot of drama at that time in the industry in general. Everyone was like, "Wow, this is going down."
It was big drama, and I remember
there were
press releases coming out. I think there was an investigation that DDT or whoever did.
There was legal wranglings, yes, about what happened. I believe ultimately nothing came of it. I assume that in classic Takagi fashion, there was probably a drinks had at a bar somewhere, and this was worked out. So that was the end of that, and of course, more hilariously, that Yumiko Hotta herself was probably out, I think, in under 6 months.
She's on this list too.
Yes,
and coming up soon. So
again, a former Actress Girls director, which is a role that seems to have a very interesting history.
Yep. The next departure was like that I have on here was pretty peaceful. Was Ano leaving? I feel like it. Maybe there was some sadness that she was leaving, but overall she left and she went on to bigger things, and she went on to just freelance and just bet on herself. But after that was Himeka, which that's the first one I remember truly like being like, oh, like what is happening? Because I remember it happening. She was like, it was an abrupt, like, she's no longer here, and everyone was like, wait, is she okay? Like, it was like a very like abrupt, she is gone. And next time she shows up,
I believe she had been up to that point I believe she lost the seed tag titles earlier, which was, again, I remember thinking that was strange because I thought that was a great her and Miyuki Takase, great seedling champions, and I was wondering why. And then obviously became very obvious why, not too soon after.
Yep. A couple months later, she was in Stardom, and just the way things are. And again, more of the whole, like, she's there. She's obviously got a lot of talent. You look at her, and especially then, like, a lot of people are really high on her, especially like from English-speaking fans. Like, that's one of the people like that I feel like a lot of people talked about. And well, she was also all over the scene too. It wasn't like she was just in Actress Girls. I mean, she was in Season.
This should be known. This was at a time when Actress was more open.
Yes,
to other promotions working.
Pretty much, Actress Girls had people in other promotions, and other promotions had people in Actress Girls. It was a really fun time, and probably my favorite time in the history of the promotion, because you never knew who would show up in either direction. You could, you had people like coming up to me and saying like, "Oh, who is Tai Honma from Ice Ribbon?" I'm like, "No, she's not from Ice Ribbon," because some people get so used to seeing them in another promotion that you think, "Oh, they're just an Ice Ribbon person." Right. But no, that wasn't their home promotion. Like, oh, well, she must be the ace of Actress. I was like, "Oh, let me tell you about this." So it was a very fun time because you people who didn't really know much about Actwres girls learning about Joshi at the time, especially because that was like when it was pretty, like, I guess like it was starting to heat up in like 2019. People were really getting into Stardom at the time, and people were like, oh, what else is out there? It was really like a big,
a lot of more access too. Again, access was increasing.
Oh yeah, and
it's
Ice
easier
Ribbon
to get stuff.
And I feel like promotions that weren't the big two now, and now eventually big three with TJPW and Stardom, like Ice Ribbon was as big as Stardom at the time.
I would argue there was a moment there where actually I think Ice Ribbon was a little bit bigger because they were able to get the better crossovers.
I'll agree, especially when you look at the shows, the big shows back in like 2019ish, 2018ish.
Their old Yokohama gymnasium shows were events.
Yeah.
Like they drew big numbers for those shows.
Yeah, even through 2020. Like it was big, and it felt big, and it felt like that was the big Joshi show of the year. And it really did take pretty much a huge influx of cash to really help Stardom separate from the pack. I mean, they were already the pretty popular, pretty big, and they were already on the trajectory to do it, but they really it happened almost overnight once Bushiroad came in. So that time was very different, because I feel like fans who didn't really dig Stardom or dug Stardom but wanted to see more of what was out there, it was really easy to just put on an Ice Ribbon show or put on a Seedling show and see Actwres girls on
Marvelous
those shows.
Was easier.
Marvelous,
So pour one out for Fresh TV for those for people who remember Fresh TV boys and girls. What a time! Also, again, Natsupoi was in Marvelous quite a bit before she transferred to Stardom.
And Nico Pro though stayed.
Nico Pro.
It stayed for too long. Well, but when that became available to overseas fans, that was the best and like worst day of my life. But it was just so much more mixing, and so you saw like Ano and Himeka and Poi and all like leaving because they were just visible in the scene. And then you had probably the most like tumultuous departure of Rico and Hota together after that.
Oh yes, let's not forget the T-Hearts exodus.
The T-Hearts, they left together, another abrupt. They're no longer with the company. Hota actually, as the director, took Rico out and formed her own promotion. So it again, there is precedence for what happened with Marigold here.
Break out your gifts. Break out the James Franco first time gift, and then or break out.
I wanted to tweet that.
When
everything was going down, because I'm like, this is just from Hota to this. So and then we're gonna get into something more, I think, questionable of that. So, but that one was absolutely like her and Rico leaving, gone, and I think like that plus like some stuff that happened elsewhere. Maybe the Himeka departure did it too, but also Julia and Ice Ribbon and Stardom made Sakaguchi go, okay, I don't know how sustainable being a pro wrestling company is going to be. So we're not going to be a pro wrestling. So instead of saying, oh, let me contract my people and let me make sure that we can secure people and have legal documents saying that, you're part of this company at this rate, maybe even per appearance for however many months, he decided he was going to close the system. And
I think I remember around this time, I think it was Miyuki got hurt on another show.
Yes, Miyuki got hurt on another show, and so did Tai.
Yes, and I think that had an effect. I believe.
Yes,
that was something that was on.
Well, Miyuki didn't get hurt before because they knew of the closure as early as April.
Yeah.
So, and that was where Miyuki lost the belt to Saki.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think the injury, came afterwards. But
but I think
it's still an important thing to talk about, because a lot of that time where she could have been out there wrestling for them. And same with
Yes.
Tai. I mean, those beginning shows where there was only like her, it was only like Ami, Kogo, and like
Oh yeah,
who
I remember that.
yeah, and those are the only people doing the dance. It
Because
was
everyone else is
rough.
like beat up.
Everyone else was hurt or missing. Like Tani missed some time.
Yeah.
It was rough, those shows. So it was obvious something needed to change there anyway. And in November, when it became official, when he announced it,
weighing on his mind, because again, you have to imagine a man with a theater background looking at this, going like, "Well, my build stars are on the sidelines because I loaned them to another company."
Yep.
And they
also
rolled their ankle.
Yep. And also, there's no security of people I'm investing my time and money into in the undercard who I want to build up. Like, because Kawahata was and Himeka, like those are two super popular people in Actwres for like at the time. So, and then so the closed system. I don't know when everyone knew. I know Saki knew early. I don't know if everyone learned when Saki knew, but Saki was the director of colors.
Yes, because that's why she probably knew. She was a little higher up.
Yeah, and she was winning the championship that like in April, so she knew before everyone else. For everyone else, I don't know. I don't know how that all happened, but I'm going to assume that sometime during the summer, everyone knew, because that was when Waka and Mai Sakurai left. They both left very differently, and I don't know. I don't understand the difference. I don't know the difference of how they left, but Mai was pretty much erased from existence from Actwres Girls.
Yeah, there was that post. Just to make it clear, yeah, there was that post where basically, it was the classic. She will not be appearing.
She is gone.
She's not coming to these shows. And then she was apparently very much like, I would like to say goodbye, but that did not happen. And
she did not. But Waka got the ability to say goodbye. So I don't know. I don't know what the difference was. Maybe it was just the timing of when Stardom wanted to bring them, or maybe Waka didn't even know she was going to end up in Stardom, but she wanted to leave and pretty much jump, because at the end of the year, Actwres Girls, as we knew it, was going to change, and a lot of people were going to flood the free agent market. And why would someone choose a Waka Tsukiyama over a Miyuki Takase? It's just just that mentality, I think. So I'm not sure if maybe that's what happened, but maybe that was the difference. I have my theory,
obviously. I think there's actually I think when you factor in her language ability, it becomes something where it becomes a little more tempting if you're a company looking to expand internationally.
Yep.
So actually, I actually point back to her appearance in Gato Move, where she introduced herself in English. I think that put her on the radar.
Oh yeah, and the fans, the English fans, are like, "Oh, we love her," immediately.
Yeah, and again, it's very easy to love Waka because she is very a wonderful, weird, classic actress girl personality. Who, again, technically, if you look back at her career, not there very long.
Yeah, so those two kind of jumped the restructuring of Actwres Girls.
Yes.
So I think that's like I could see why they both left at that time, because it was really just they needed to, and whether and the details around where they went or what the plans were in the mind when they actually said they were leaving, it doesn't matter. I think it just makes sense that, okay, the company is going to restructure. I don't know if there's a place for me. Probably not a place for me. I'm going to go and make sure that I find a place for me. And if I got to jump in line, I got to do it.
And if you wanted to be a pro wrestler, you would probably be looking at going somewhere else, because that was not what they were going to be after that.
Yep. And then we could talk about the end of 2021, where almost everyone left because it was the restructuring, and you saw, Miyuki and Tai, like pretty much they lost most of their main event scene except for Miku.
Miku stayed behind.
Miku stayed behind. Mari stayed behind.
Misa stayed behind, which was
Misa stayed behind, but she was like, I'm just talking in the sense of like main eventers. So she was like their 2021 run where she had the colors tournament and all that, she started to make a case for her to become the next generation. And I think a lot of that is because they were going to restructure and she was going to be part of that carried over roster. And then you had like Ayano, who was kind of a mid-carder at the time. I feel like somebody who like, likable and maybe like slightly above a Waka level at the time. Like really, like I don't want to think of it like I don't want to like talk bad about like where she was at the time, but she was in her role because Actwres was stacked. Actwres was stacked at the time.
Oh yeah. I mean, you put her against Taie or Miyuki Takase. Obviously, you're like, oh well. Obviously, she's not comparable there at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, and even like the two Momos had kind of floated up the card too, especially with Momo's trip over to Mexico. Yeah, it really was like she was kind of in that crew with like Hayashi and whatnot. So it was like she was one of the few that moved over from there too. So and me moved over. She says she wrestled her last match. She was done, and then she moved on to become a performer in Actwres.
Yes,
and I think she's actually improved as a performer since then in the ring. So a lot of things happened there in 2021, and it really was Sakaguchi trying to, I guess, lock down what he had and create his own bubble of his own kind of a bubble of his own genre in both wrestling and acting. It's a very unique thing, but
he wanted to create an entertaining sports world.
Yeah,
maybe you can call it sports entertainment. I don't know if we legally can do that, but
I don't know.
But yeah, there was a post I believe by Yuna around that time because she continues to talk to Sakaguchi, where I believe she said Sakaguchi contacted her and said, "I'm gonna build something closer to what I wanted Actwres to be from the jump." So this was maybe him going like, "Oh, I'm gonna finally create my thing."
It's definitely something you could see in those early shows. I see a lot of like those early shows in the early act wrestling shows. So it makes sense that this is a more realized version of that. But the thing is, he didn't exactly address some of the issues that I think led to the departures of people like Rico and Himeka. And so I think that when you look at the 2021 departures, they're all just because of the change in the system. But the departures before that, you have people who had other opportunities and had to jump on them. I am very much like someone who believes in workers' rights. And thinks that workers should be able to make their decisions about their careers, especially if it's like, they're legally able to jump and to make it. They should just be able to. And as much as it sucks as an Actwres fan, they should be able to do it because I'm not a fan of the promotion because of the name Actwres Girls or because of Keiji Sakaguchi or anything. I am a fan of Actwres Girls because of people like Yuna Manase, Natsupoi, Saori Ano, Miyuki Takase, Tai Honma. That's why I'm an Actwres Girls fan. And when they departed amicably at the end of 2020, a lot of them, I followed them and I cheered for them. I've seen Miyuki live a bunch of times. I know I've had the opportunity to meet a couple times. Like it just really, I will always support those people because they were just the people who brought me into the company and made me really fall in love with it. And that's what I'm cheering for. I'm not cheering for the promotion, but the promotion has a sentimental value to me because of it. And
I think the promotion has a weird chemistry too that I enjoy, and I think it does create the environment for some of these talents to flourish. It might not have happened elsewhere.
Yeah, it reminds me of especially now, like the Stardom that I really enjoyed back in the day.
Yeah, the early days.
It feels like that, and they've sustained that for a long time. But the thing is, sustaining that for a long time means there's no growth, and that's the issue. I think a lot of them are feeling. So, and I want to talk about this because I feel like no one talks about it. Himawari.
Yes.
who is one
Yeah.
of my favorites in TJPW. She is amazing.
Fantastic.
She's gonna challenge for the tag belts soon. I'm so stoked for that. Her and Wakana, like that's an
Yeah.
amazing team, really amazing duo. But Himawari wrestled 3
Twice.
times for Actwres.
3?
Maybe it was
I
twice.
felt like
I think. Yeah, it might have been twice, and then a
her
I think it was
debut.
the debut was at
Osaka.
Korakuen, and then she did the Osaka show. Oh, she did the park festival.
Yes. Yes.
So she
yes,
did
yes.
that. I think that's why I'm thinking three appearances. So she did that, and then disappeared on the face of the earth. Actress did the copy and paste, like, oh, she's no longer with the company. Goodbye. And I was like, well, I think I know what's happening because she is not shy about her love of pro wrestling, and she especially was a TJPW and DDT fan.
I believe, yeah, if you even go into her timeline before she even joined Actress, she was a big DDT
Yes,
Tokyo Joshi fan. So
huge fan of them. So I was like, she probably just created a demo reel to give to Coda for her 2
yeah,
matches in Actress, and it
I
worked.
think it might have been the thing
but,
too, simply where, she got her foot in the door,
yeah,
and then it said, hey, look, I
yeah,
got this thing.
It's one of those, like, ethically, I mean, was it okay? I don't know, but like literally, it doesn't matter because that's what she wanted. Actress was just a bridge to a bigger stage that she wanted to be on because her goal was a cyber fight promotion, and she got
Yes.
there. You know, it is what it is, and like I said, the entertainment industry is very cutthroat. Doesn't matter where you are or what part you're in it. And she knew what she wanted to do, and she executed that plan flawlessly. And it's like, yeah, she just did what she wanted to do. And I feel
I can
like
see it also just being timing too, right? It's like, oh,
yeah.
By the way, you're getting started great. Tokyo Joshi's having an audition.
Yeah.
And I gotta go.
And she had the 2 matches to prove that she at least had some basic in-ring training and basic in-ring ability. I'm like, it's again like sentimentally, I'm like, oh, I would love to have seen her stay an Actress because she would have been such a great presence.
Oh, I think she would have been.
I'm sad because I'm like, oh man, if Sakaguchi just was like, all right, you're gonna work 10 shows and had it in writing, all right, it would have been cool to have her do the 10 shows, but she may have missed the opportunity to go to TJPW,
exactly.
and it would suck because she is awesome there. And like I said, I'm all about the workers chasing their dreams and their rights, and she was well within her rights to be able to do that because Sakaguchi still, even with the closed system, did not hold these people to any kind of real contract. And you really couldn't because of the way the system was. You had people leave quickly. You had Sami Hisato come back and leave. You had Kaokuro Nishida wrestle 2 matches, 3 matches and leave because they didn't know if they were going to stay, and you didn't know if you wanted to commit your money and time to them either. But once you got deeper, especially with people like Miku Iono and Misa Matsui, and those are 2 people you should be, if you're going to offer anyone a contract or at least guaranteed dates and money, those are the 2. And
yes, I would argue Amari as well.
especially I'm just talking about the next departure crew because that's what the next departure was. It was the 6 who left from Marigold.
To be clear, I always felt like Miku and Misa were probably always guaranteed spots. It's like, oh, you can wrestle, you'll be on the card no matter what. So there was, again, a handshake, wink and nod. You will always be wrestling.
And I feel like Miku was so loyal to Sakaguchi. Like more loyal than he even deserved. Like
she could have left at any time to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And she stayed.
Yeah. 2021, if she went to another company or even freelance, I don't think anyone would have been like, oh, how dare she leave? I think that it's anyone who's like seeing her now leaving, I'm like, she stayed there for 2.5 years doing everything she possibly could in that system. And I think that's part of why this happened, is that the roster outgrew the Act Wrestling system for the most part, at least at the upper end. Because Sumikawa, now Shozuki, became a 11-year vet, even though she had a gap of 8-9 years in the middle of it. She had that like intensity, that those instincts, those wrestling instincts. She was like, even this champion, there was still a ceiling there that, unless the system itself changed, there was nowhere else for her to go. And Miku was running into that, where she was just kind of doing her thing and just she lost the belt and felt I'm not going to say she was directionless, because I felt like the direction was getting the championship back again, but or at least challenging for the championship again, because the last few shows she was on, other than when she got her hair cut, was her reminding everyone that she is the ace. And she's like, don't forget about me. Yeah, you can face Goto, you can face Act, you can do whatever you want, but I'm still here and this is still my company. But the thing is, there's still that cap there, because they're still within that Act Wrestling system. And when an opportunity comes along to break out of that and truly go into an exciting promotion that's going to present itself as professional wrestling, that has connections to WWE, that has connections elsewhere, and they're bringing in people like Saudi, they're going to bring outsiders, probably going to be work elsewhere. It's such an enticing jump to make. And
we have to remember, she was there before. She remembers what it was like to work outside.
And
so for her, it's like, oh, I want to do this again.
Yeah, and if you look at like what Fuka said since, there have been frustrations about them wanting to work outside, because they felt like they've hit a wall with the wrestling they can do, and not just saying because of the style of wrestling or the act. It's more that these are elite athletes almost. Actwres Girls creates some of the best wrestling talent in the world, and they've done it since day one, and they continue to do it today. But once you close that system, and now you're limiting them to only wrestling the same crew over and over again, that's going to limit them. And it's also going to limit the opportunities. It's also going to limit the amount of money they can make, because that's what it's all about. That's what the job is. As much as we want to see loyalty and want to see all the friends get together and do Love Riddle every show, it's money. And these people are out here to make money. It's careers. It's career choices. And
right. And if you can't guarantee the money, that's a whole thing. Like, let's talk about the big dog in the room.
Yes.
The sports entertainment kings. You sign with them, and again, those contracts are under kind of like, you could debate whatever, but you sign with the Fed. They will give you enough money to justify you not going anywhere else, because that's how that works.
I don't think Sakaguchi's able to do that.
No,
maybe understatement of the year. I don't think so.
Because I believe, and this is interesting point to bring up, because this kind of connects to Marigold. When you want 100% control, it's hard to maintain that when you have sponsors and other people you need to deal with. And so, at some point you want to grow, you got to cede some control. I believe this is why we have Marigold in a lot of ways, is because, Hatman said, like, I miss being in control of this product.
Yeah.
So
exactly. I think that's a big part of why it was formed. Just he wanted to just do his own thing again, because Bushiroad has their ways of doing things, and some people love it, and some people it grates on some people, like myself. It's just the way things are, and when you become a more corporate and more advertiser and whatever friendly company, it's
this might be timely, but like speaking of doing things your way, just remember, it is 2024. Your way should never be putting private information on a USB drive. And
Yeah.
then losing said drive.
That's not.
This is
I
dating
work
this
in computer
podcast.
security. You do not do
Oh,
that.
Jesus.
Do
Let
not
me
do
tell you
that.
something. Like, my company is backward ass, old Japanese. Like, we have a fax machine. It is old as hell. Day one, I was told very specifically, never bring a USB drive into this office.
Yep.
And yeah, I was like, that makes sense. And the fact that that's not being followed in a certain card trading company that may also be involved in wrestling was depressing.
Yes, especially when I think maybe it included like personal and credit card information. I don't. Not good.
Yes.
Not good.
Very
Something
bad.
you should never ever put on a USB drive.
That should never go on a USB drive. But
Okay.
I know why it happened. I live in Japan. But even by the Japanese standards, this was a bad idea.
I have people ask me, "Oh, is this a good idea?" I'm like, "No." So it happens even here. I know that it's definitely something that people should not do. It is
USB drives are for your to back up photos off your phone because you filled your phone up with Joshipro photos.
Move a couple of like essays you got to print for college from your computer to the printer.
You got to take it to the library printer.
Exactly.
So just use a cloud for God's sakes. But anyways, got sidetracked. But yes, you want control, so you got to sacrifice certain things.
With Sakaguchi, you want to see the talent get better and get bigger opportunities. But again, like we said, there is that limit in the company, and it's just the way it is, the way the whole thing's set up. And I felt like, especially many of these 6 absolutely hit that limit, and we're gonna bubble over. Something was gonna bubble over anyway. So it with Natsumi leaving as the champion. Now that's crazy. That's something
crazy.
I don't want to talk about, but it's something like I was excited. I was happy she won. And I feel like it's not like a deflating thing as a fan of hers. It's just like kind of like, oh, like she did that and then she's gone. Like I wish I had a run. I wish I had more defenses. I wish there was more to it. I wish it wasn't such an abrupt end. I wish there was more closure to it. And I think that that's a lot of what I think a lot of fans want in general. It's just more closure to the situation.
Yeah, like even if she just had given it back to Mari or something on that last show, I would have been fine with that. I'm like, at least,
Yeah. And I think that they wanted to say goodbye. From everything I've read and seen, they wanted to say goodbye, but it was, I think I'm going to blame Sakaguchi for a minute, because I think he's just stubborn and doesn't want to acknowledge what happened on those shows. Like he didn't want to acknowledge what happened on the shows because, whatever. But I also can't blame, because it's probably pretty shocking that like the day before, the day of, he was told like, your main event scene's going to be gone. I could understand him being pissed. So
you can see him
so I could understand that, but they had a perfect opportunity to do it, because as I said, at the end of Act 40, they had like the dance showcase where they did, Love Riddle, Act Fantasy. That would have been a perfect opportunity to be like, the day before on Twitter, even be like, it sucks that they're leaving, but we're going to say goodbye with this special performance. Like it would have just been a perfect way to like, all right. And it fell into, I don't know if it actually fell into their laps. I don't know why they would have planned that anyway, that special dance performance, but it would have been,
That random double show, just to be honest, I was like, why is there a Shinkiba double show going on?
Yeah, random Shinkiba double show that ends with a special dance, like a special dance performance that was like, 15 minutes, 3 songs. Like it was a perfect way to send people off, and they chose not to do it in a public way. And who knows, maybe it was something to do with Marigold. They didn't want that to get out, and maybe, I don't know. But it's just frustrating watching that show going like, oh, this would have been so perfect if they just acknowledged it. And like, we finally got the farewell. I think a lot of people would have been happier with what happened. Cause I think fans in general want to cheer on the wrestlers. They don't really care about the politics behind the scene. I mean, people do, but they care. It's more like, oh, I love the drama and whatever. But when it all said and done, they care about the wrestlers. They want to cheer about their favorite wrestlers, no matter where they are, wherever they're wrestling. So I feel like the Actwres departures were shocking, but they're all still like liking each other's stuff. I mean, Todoroki was just hanging out with Chica like yesterday or a couple of days ago. So they're still friendly. I mean, Koki's going to be working with Rensan for the next big idol performance that they're working on. So there's still like friendship and camaraderie there because they were in a place at the same time. When you start burning the other talent, that's when I start to go, okay, I don't know if I can follow you. And then when you look at, and then now let's go back to the departures, the 6 who left.
Yeah, the 6 who left.
We didn't like Misa. We said like she's someone who I think just has the sky as her limit. And again, she must have seen like the writing on the wall. Okay, like there is a ceiling here. Like Miku's kind of bouncing off of it right now. Natsumi's kind of hitting it. I gotta follow them because there's so much more out there. And also she was from the era before, so she did wrestle
she remembers
outside stuff.
what it was like to wrestle others.
Yep.
I remember one of the last things she did was a Shupra article with Haruka. Haruka, who's basically her contemporary. They both basically kind of debuted around the same time. They're about the same age, and then she has to look over at Haruka and see everything Haruka's doing over in Diana, or Diana Champion, Haruka Umasaki, and go like, that could be me. Haruka's working multiple promotions. She is building a legacy for herself. There's a shout out to her recent match against May Sarah at Krakow Hall. Excellent match. Go hunt that down. Yeah, you as a wrestler, performer, whatever. You probably look at that and go like, that should be me. That could be me. Also, someone please book Hatman. Please book Haruka somehow. I don't know if you're going to be open door policy with other promotions, but I would like to see Umisaki versus Matsui before I die. Please.
Yep. Especially like now because they're both so good. Umisaki is seriously just incredible, and Misa has grown so much as a performer. Like since 2021. So, and like I'm gonna miss her in Actwres, but I'm so excited to see what she does next. I'm so stoked because she's
because I believe I saw her just one of her last matches before the system closed off was a Diana show where she got to. I think it was a tag match though, but she got to mix it up with Umisaki, and I was like, oh, this was I want to see this more. And then I believe she had her soul destroyed when Kyoko like samurai bombed her to death. But it was an amazing, it was a fantastic match.
And then like the others who left were Koki, Chika, and Chaki. Who Koki, I understand because I'm certain that people were inquiring about her availability. Anyway. She's just got that presence of a superstar when you first see her.
The first time I saw her, the first time I saw her, obviously, it was as a ARG, and
was it the Clan versus Tai match?
Yes, I believe that's the first time I've ever seen Koki, my immediate impression was this when I saw them was it's her, and it is Natsuki. Who is we're going to be stars. I knew immediately. I'm like, these two are going to be amazing. To be honest, I thought Naru had potential too, and she's proved that. I remember both of them. Like, both these two, in different ways, have stuff to be megastars. So when Koki was going to go, I could see it. Like, and also again, just watching her evolve in the ring. Yes, I was like, oh yeah. So it's either they're gonna open up and let her do stuff, or one day we're probably gonna lose her.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
Yeah, she's just that presence is enough to just the presence alone is enough for people to become interested in getting her on board with whatever they're doing, and it's just a matter of time before someone, and it ended up being Marigold and Rossi, and then Chika.
I think we haven't brought it up, but I think also Actwres time.
Oh, Actwres time, absolutely. Yeah. She was the star of Actwres time for the most part.
She was And I remember when that started, a lot of tweets, not just the 6 that left, but a lot of tweets from the talent at Actress Girls noted how much it was nice to be part of the pro wrestling world a little bit more.
Yes.
And I think that, again, you have probably the biggest audience of pro wrestling fans starting to warm up to you, because and all accounts, even the last show with after the loss, Actress Time becomes more and more of a popular little thing at All Japan.
Yeah, I think that's finally become more of like a expected attraction now. Like, oh yeah, it's happening. Oh, cool. And like now it's kind of it's in the pre-show, but I feel like it doesn't disrupt an AJPW show, so the fans are maybe more receptive to it too. It's been fun to watch that transition, especially with after that, and like everyone knew what happened. The fans were even more receptive and more cheering them on. I was going through like Twitter comments and seeing like cheering. I'm cheering for you, Actress Girls. It was nice to see.
And I'll say this, I feel there was a missed opportunity when this started, because I had hoped this would be another opportunity to them to work with maybe Evo girls, Evo Joshi. Now again, I'm not going to put that on Actress Girls policies. There's clearly things going on in All Japan. They have their own issues at the moment. Yeah. But I had hope there would be some mixing up, because that would have been a nice little, again, a small promotion of wrestlers, performers that they could have mixed it up with, and that might have been enough for some people to be like, okay, this is my outside interaction.
Yeah, and like I feel like Chalky fits in the same kind of. I'm gonna just go back to the departures again with the list. Chalky fits in that same kind of superstar appearance kind of thing. Like you see her, she's got that presence, and she's so like well-rounded as an in-ring performer in Actwres. I can't wait to see how they just kind of refine it in Marigold. And Chica is just like another like cool get, because she's got a lot of potential. She's grown a lot as a performer, and also
she's grown amazingly. Yeah,
she sells things. She sells things.
She's got one of the best choke slams in the business. She is the.
I love her big swing. Her giant swing is up there for me. There's some really great giant swings, but hers is like. And again, I think it surpassed Sarah's for me.
Yeah, I want to talk about how again, this is a talent that, and maybe this is kind of giving credit to Sakaguchi. Again, I don't know if she would have been able to survive. Let's say like. If for some reason she came in and we're gonna try to debut in, I don't know, let's say Marvelous had picked her up for some reason. I don't know if she would have survived that training, but I think Actress Girls has such a weird way of developing talent. You can get people who would maybe have done this once and walked away, which is something.
She actually said she might do. It might. She's like, I don't know if I'll ever wrestle again, but come see me, buy a ticket.
My impression was she came in for the Gems program, the Gems thing. Yep. And like, okay, well, we would like you to wrestle at some point. She said, sure, I'll try it once. And I like to say that she caught the bug. And
she loved it enough to bet on herself and make an insanely huge leap for someone with such little experience in pro wrestling. And
But it was grown quite a bit.
I could do anything. I would say herself. If you take the last 12 months from now, I would maybe reconsider my like most improved wrestler for last year. If it was the last 12 months starting now, because I feel like starting at March Corican through now, she maybe became the number 2 in the Royal, when a lot of people were like thinking, it's going to be Koki, but it really Koki kind of stagnated a little bit. I think that this is going to be a big leap for her as well. I think that she was just kind of stuck in that I'm waiting for the moment thing, and now the moment is here, and it's not the moment people were expecting, because she's going to challenge for the Actress belt. No, she is now a pro wrestler, and she's going to do pro wrestling. And but for Go Chica especially, I'm so I'm proud, even though I had nothing to do with it. I feel so happy that she is confident enough to make that jump, because I don't know how I don't know if I could do that. It's like starting out from like I don't know if I'm ever going to do this again. Like I'll try wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then now jumping into the deep end with some of the best wrestlers in the world and some of the most like intense training, because they have Nana and stuff there. It's going to be not an easy path forward for her.
Like you get a passion injection. That's not easy,
Yeah. So I'm cheering for her, really cheering for her, and I'm all 6 of them, but like especially Chica, because it's one of those like I would not have if you told me like 6 people are leaving Actwres Girl, she wouldn't have and they're gonna go and join Rossy Ogawa, Nanae Takahashi Federation. She wouldn't be on my top 10.
I would have put her in there because I know Rossy Ogawa, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. That's the other part is that, like I said, she sells things. She sells portraits. She's going to sell. She doesn't do. She's going to have a photo book. We'll never see that gem photo book, but yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah. You know what? Sakaguchi, now is the time. If you own the rights to that,
get that Chica Goto and Sumikawa money while it's still
maybe
feasible.
For all we know, Honoka's the one person who's got to sign off on that, because I don't think there's anything specifically gems related to that. Just rename it diamonds. I don't know.
Someone just
diamond flowers.
Rossi, make the call. We need to get Honoka over to Marigold and make this happen.
We need a ring announcer who can do magic tricks before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then after those departures, it was announced that Calico would have her last match.
And boy, oh boy, was it a last match.
We'll get into the thing when we're going to go into step 41, but it was an amazing last match. Great moments, intense stuff, and it really did shout back to her breakout in January. And a lot of people have her kind of assumed to go to Marigold, and I pretty much assume that's the most likely landing point for her. Yeah, but she's a big wrestling fan. She's a huge wrestling fan. She goes to Dragon Gate and a bunch of shows.
Cat Mask Calico and Dragon Gate would be amazing.
Yeah, but like I said, she is just a big wrestling fan. So I could see her like going freelancing or going to having an opportunity at another promotion or something too. I think that she just wants to go into pro wrestling, but she has a big stage performance with her crew that runs through the end of June.
Yes.
So I think that's going to take up a lot of her time, and we'll see where she's going to go after that. I saw people like in the Marigold press conference that happened on the 30th saying, are they going to announce Calico? And I think that nothing's going to be announced until June, probably for her.
Yeah, she might be wrapping up certain acting.
It's the same thing that's going to happen in February when she had the big matches in January and then nothing was scheduled for February. So kind of the same deal there. She's going to take May off.
Work of the Actwres system, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to take probably May off. She was probably planning to take May off anyway, and then run through the shows in June. So we'll see where she's at in a couple months. I'm really excited to see either her as Cat Mask or as Nakayama. However, maybe she comes back to Actwres as Nakayama. That's like an outside chance. I still think she's going somewhere else.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Himawari. We're losing a former Actwres girl in Tokyo Joshi. It might be time to replenish the Actwres girl, Actwres girl,
and also a former cat.
Oh, you're right. What if we had another former cat join?
Yeah, so maybe that's just the bridge that's got to be just traveled over again. So we'll see. But Calico, and it was a nice departure. They had a lot of fun with that, and that match was an amazing send off for just someone who's a really, really cool wrestler who really broke out in the last 3 months.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to whatever she does next. As we talked about it, as we went through this, I want to go through the problems with, or at least what's going on with the modern system and why I think that a lot of the people at the top of the card outgrew it. So like there are these limits to it where you can't wrestle outside, you can't, do this. And also they want to present it as stage acting, not as pro wrestling. And they do work a bit of a lighter style, especially in the undercard.
Yes.
So it
And
is.
I have my arguments to say that that's maybe helpful for a while.
Oh
at
yeah,
least, but maybe not
I
in the
think
long term.
so. I think so. But the thing is, when you're Misa Matsui and you ran and did a run up to the top, you had your title match, and then you got to kind of fall back down to the card. You're now wrestling kind of like these not meaningless 6-man tags, but these 6-man tags that you got to work a kind of you're more guiding everyone. Right? Even though
Yes.
you're only 22 years old, 21 years old, and you're trying to grow as a wrestler. Now you're not growing, but your responsibility is to teach everyone else and show them what to do. So it's got to be frustrating because I think that she's at her age and at her experience level, she shouldn't really be training people. She shouldn't be the guiding force. She should be out there and just improving her craft. And she has been, and she was, and you do get that when you continually train with people. But I feel like there is a limit to how far you can go when you're just trying to train even someone who is as talented as a Naho Yamada, who is a very talented, mid card wrestler right now in Actwres. It's
And potentially moving up very quickly.
yeah,
But
and
yes.
I think that that's something like now she can focus on learning from Ananae or even like learning from Miku even more closely
Right.
and more directly. It's now she doesn't have to worry about what about the Mizushimas and the Kanamikus and all that of the system. It's I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
I feel like the lack of an actual contract it always leads to a blow up because I think Sakaguchi just expects them to work for them forever. Maybe not forever, but at least to work for them in like this perpetual way and not give them a clear exit path. Like, at least Utami wrestled through the end of March because that was when her contract ended. And
yes.
She leaves then. There's really no problem going somewhere else then. With the way Actwres works, there's not a defined end to the contract. So it's got to be a lot more of a minefield to try to weed through to actually get to the point where you're able to leave and do it in a way that you don't get that copy and paste tweet of she will no longer be with the company. I think that it's
this might sound familiar to anyone who's ever been a freelancer of any sort. When you don't have a guaranteed paycheck or whatever, that weighs on you. Then an opportunity pops up, right? So it's like, oh well.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I was technically a freelancer for almost a decade out here in Japan, and when an opportunity came up, I was literally out the door within a month or so, I think. And there wasn't much my company could do because technically I was not contracted full-time worker to that company.
Yeah, and there's no way Sakaguchi could offer them something better than Rossi was offering at this point, and Fuka came with them.
Again, I think one of the big things is the option to work outside. I think, if that had been on the table over at Actwres, that would be something that would have kept at least a couple of them, maybe more than a couple.
Yeah.
In the system. Because again, you have the option to do outside bookings now. This increases your income, obviously. And then also it gives you just an opportunity, like you said, an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
Like, you can go fight other people. You can learn. Like, we have Miyuki Takase, as good as she is, not just because of Actwres Girls, which I think helped her a lot, but also because she was doing Marvelish. She was doing Seed,
Yeah, I mean,
he's the rest of who she is. Saki was doing Gato.
Yeah, look at Mizunami's. You see a lot of Ryu Mizunami in Miyuki Takase.
Yep.
So if Miyuki debuted under the current system, you wouldn't see that kind of an influence. I don't know, like they would she be able to work with Mizunami behind the scenes at a site? But no, I think it would just be you're going to train in here and you're going to be an Actwres girl, and that's got to be so frustrating, especially to someone like Misa and Miku.
Yes, who know the other world.
I think they tried to find the middle ground sometimes. Like the Ice Ribbon partnership that fell apart.
I question that even as a middle ground because that was a bad deal for Ice Ribbon. Unfortunately,
I think maybe it was Sakaguchi trying to figure out a way to do this without actually doing this. Like we're gonna let you wrestle elsewhere, but it's got to be an approved partner, and the only approved partner is going to be Ice Ribbon. And then they wanted Ice Ribbon to shut themselves off. Like that was never going to work.
Yeah, and it almost went through. And again, that was another issue. Let's talk about bad management or questionable management.
Yep.
That was on Ice Ribbon's side maybe a bad call as well because there's a lot of talents in Ice Ribbon who would have left and in fact did leave.
Yep.
Oh my! Let's talk about there's a certain Tam Nakano-esque person in Marigold that very much left because of that situation. Because again, the loss of those outside bookings, that potential to not just earn but grow, was a big deal for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right. So, and again, I think just offering that, and because let's talk about the current AWG roster. Like, I think I love Renson. I think she's one of the best personalities they have.
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
think she would be able to both grow and get so over in another promotion. Like her on a Gato show would be magic. I think just showing up
and like people
instantly
would
grab onto her.
Jump back from they go, oh wow, that was really cool. I enjoyed that because Choco Pro is watched by people from all over the world and a lot of foreign fans. Like, oh, I want to see like what she's all about in her home promotion. And when like Ayano or when Waka were on Choco Pro, or people asked me about them, and I was like, oh yeah, just watch them on Actwres. That's their home promotion, and they're just as fun there as they are in this silly environment. And it's a mutually beneficial thing as you get more people into Choco Pro or Gato, and people, that they'll be able to just participate more in outside wrestling, and then people will come back and see like, oh, they were from Actwres, I want to see them in Actwres. I think that like some it's frustrating because like sometimes it doesn't, like when it comes to like sending someone over to America or to a big company like Stardom, I don't think it pays off as well because they go, oh, I could just watch them the next time they like book, and people just admit, oh, I hope that they sign Maki Ito. Like, oh no, please, I want to see her, like that kind of thing. Like, and like Stardom, it's like, oh, I want like people like, oh, sign Umasaki. I'm like, but they don't want to go and watch Diana. But I feel like when you're talking about the smaller promotions like Diana or now Ice Ribbon, Gato, people who watch those are more open to watching, something just because. But why are they there watching these smaller promotions? Oh, it's because they probably saw someone they liked and they ended up following them to that promotion. Like, oh, cool. And that's the kind of community they should be building in these smaller wrestling companies, because how are you going to compete with a company like Stardom, TJPW, and Marigold now when they have those companies have a lot more money and ability and flexibility and just a kind of a built-in, they have a bubble because they can make their own bubble because they have the money and the fan base to do it. With the smaller companies, it's harder, and you see them all working and intertwining together. And if Actwres was still part of that, I think that a lot of these problems wouldn't happen. But failed partnerships has kind of become a thing of this era too, because you have the Kitsune as well. Say what you want about Kitsune and the booking or whatever there and all that. The fact that Sumikawa and Act were supposed to be on a show in America and then abruptly were pulled from it or were asked not to come over. That's a big red flag, and I'm pretty sure it was a big sticking point for someone like Sumikawa. It's probably something that stuck with her, and we know that it's an absolutely frustrating thing for Act. She's been very open about how frustrated she's been. And that kind of it's probably a symptom of Sakaguchi saying, oh, you can bring them over, but it's got to be under these conditions. And I'm pretty sure that it's something that did not match up with the the vision for the event in LA.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that's exactly what happened. Is
Yeah.
it was
Same.
maybe a slight miscommunication, misunderstanding of the terms for using the actress
Yes.
talent on that show. So,
but he could have booked the dream
unfortunate because
match that a lot of people wanted, was act against Sumikawa, 1-on-1 maybe. I don't know, but it's one of those, like, like I said, I don't know the specifics, but it sucks that, like, they had to get pulled and they couldn't wrestle, or whether, it sucks that they just weren't on the show, because I think that was probably a big factor of Sumikawa leaving. Not necessarily the Kitsune situation, but the whole fact that I almost went to America and wrestled in America. There's got to be more opportunities like that out there. And
and my understanding is, Marigold would like to do that at some point.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it happens. And like it's I think that looking at where these wrestlers or the performers I'm going to call them wrestlers. They're wrestlers now again, officially.
Yeah.
So
yes.
like Miku and Misa, especially the last 2.5 years or so, they have been stuck in the system. They've been working in the system. They've been working their asses off, and they've built a really cool wrestling promotion. They put a lot of work into it, but they see people like Himeka, who actually debuted against Miku, and you see people like Ami Mura, who was Misa's teammate, who were were superstar. Like in Himeka's case, was like a big star on a big stage. Ami is a big star on a big stage now. And then you have like the undercard talent of like Mai Sakurai, who was a relative newcomer even when she left. And same with Waka, doing big things in Stardom on big stages. And they're still stuck in that Shinkiba and like half empty Korakuen loop. And it's like gotta be so frustrating for them, because they've put in so much work. And like, I know as the white belt champ, Amikura, Saki, Takase, Honma, Kawahata all came overseas to America, and they wrestled at shows here. That's got to be so frustrating for them to see, to know that if they just left in 2021, those opportunities could have been theirs, especially for someone like Miku and Misa, because they were they already had the established like credibility behind them. And that's the whole idea. They can now go and wrestle possibly in America. It's something that I think that was a big deal. Maybe not just America, but just the fact that they can go and wrestle on a bigger stage in Japan or maybe somewhere else in the world. Like,
Misa Matsui, Grand Princess, would have been an amazing thing.
Yeah. Just frustrating. As frustrating as a fan, because you want to see it, and now you think about, okay, if I wasn't hurt, their shoes, especially someone like Miku, who could be an ace in any promotion, it's why wouldn't you make the jump at that point? Yeah, especially spending 2 years building this thing and knowing that there's still that ceiling there, and she was the most visible version of that.
I think, and I think there was hope. I think there was hope on her part that one day, okay, we're closed off. We got to rebuild. I understand. But at the end of this journey, I would like us to be back into pro wrestling or whatever, right? Or back into the community.
And it seemed like Fuka was trying to make that happen.
Fuka was trying to, I think, to be honest, they're all trying to make it happen. I think you see tweets that sometimes get
even
deleted.
Mari.
That And the ninja, maybe her post no longer exists, but she has, her and others have still discussed it for sure.
Yeah, well, she was talking about it even in the terms of the Best Body show she was on. Like, she's like, it's cool seeing Makoto there and seeing some old friends there, and it was just cool. And I know that she's frustrated because she had plans at some point that also fell apart, mostly pandemic. But it became worse because now she's in that Actwres system. But she's sticking with it, and because she believes in the system, and she's kind of the heart of the system right now. And she's there, and she's committed to it, and she's so deep in those woods there with the acting stuff and the game club and everything. So she's there.
And as a possible, I can't confirm it. Ninja assassin, it fits in her schedule.
Yeah.
You need a cover for your ninja activities.
Exactly.
Being a performer talent can get that. But yeah, I totally understand it. Like, especially again, like you said, Miku and Misa are prime examples, especially Misa for me, because she's at that age where it's like, again, you just look over at who debuted with me at that time, and you see Umisaki, and you're like, oh, that should probably be me.
Yep.
Somewhere.
Yeah. And you see people who debuted after her in the same company doing huge things.
And again, she was there before. She remembers when she could wrestle other people.
Yeah.
That probably weighs on the mind. It's like, I would like to do that again.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
She almost did. She almost,
yeah.
that ice ribbon thing almost got through. Again, issues on both sides. Not gonna treat it like it was, a Saguchi thing, but definitely sadly not well thought out.
Yeah. And so talked about the frustrations, and it's like they're there and they're on that kind of loop of Shinkiba, Inoroku box, and then Korakuen.
Yeah, Korakuen, and with a few other random appearances here and there.
Yeah, but like the crowds haven't been growing. They've been
right.
They've been like sometimes they're less, sometimes they're more. It really depends on I don't know, just like when the scheduling is. But it's not like they're selling out these shows. They're not even really sometimes selling out Shinkiba. It's got to be frustrating too to see Nami Sore in Stardom on these big stages and these big buildings. What doesn't matter if they sell out or not. They're just big buildings, and it looks like a big majestic show.
Oh sure, and I'll say that that All Japan show in Otaku or Ota Gymnasium.
Yep.
Ota War Gymnasium was it was not a full show. That is a hard place to sell out. Like I've seen very few promotions do it. I think New Japan's one of them. Even Stardom had trouble filling that thing. But just to be in that large venue, even half full, it's impressive. It's probably like I would like to do this more.
We were I was a Grand Princess last year in Ariake. It was nowhere near full, maybe a quarter at most. Right, but it was really cool to see those big stages, that big production. It was just really cool, and it felt like a big show, even if it wasn't like filled up. Also, it was still the COVID restrictions were still around at the time. So even though it wasn't a full arena and a full stadium, it still felt big, and because it just was presented that way. And because Cyberfight has the ability to present things that way, and Actwres simply just sticks with the basic, Korakuen setup and the bright lights and the 4 fog lights in Shinkiba, and they don't even really do like videos or anything in Osaka. So it's just like a frustrating little thing, I guess, because like the production for that, and just the fact that there is no truly noticeable growth when it comes to the platform they're on. I could see that being another big reason why going to another promotion would be appealing. And I mean, Rossi sold out all the venues that they're running already. Marigold has sold out Korakuen for the debut. They've sold out the initial run of Shinkiba shows, and I think they sold out the Osaka show. And they're also going to Sendai too. I don't think that's sold out, but they're on the.
I'm sure they'll do fine in Sendai.
Yeah, like I said, they're already a bigger. Despite being a brand new promotion, they're already a bigger platform than a company with the history of Actwres. And that's.
I mean, I will argue that they are taking some of the biggest names from the last promotion.
Well, yes,
and that will always help you.
Yes, but also like Actwres, like
who is the Chris Jericho of this promotion? I don't know. I won't say who Jericho is. It's Julia. But oh my God, yeah, she should show the going. She should come out of Judas now. Yes.
Oh no. She should. But Actwres is should be so much bigger now because you
Should
have
be.
the people that came through it. You have Ano, you have Takase, you have Honma, you have Poi, Nakano, and it's just the inability to sustain that talent. It has made them the best talent growing factory in the country. And it's not what Sakaguchi wants, but it is absolutely what they have been and what they are. And it sucks as a fan of the promotion because you know that your favorites aren't going to stick around. And I felt like maybe in this system it's been figured out, but this is a big wake up call that to everyone. It has not been figured out. But maybe he just got to realize that's his place. Unless he can start paying these people enough money and enough stuff and give them what they want, which it doesn't seem like he's willing to do to the extent that other promotions can. And, some of it's just because of the economics of it. He is, Sakaguchi. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
And he's got to go up against two mega corporations and a guy who sold his wrestling company to a mega corporation, and he's using that money to fund a new wrestling company. So it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult to do that. And it's maybe the roster is too big, maybe this, maybe that. It's just
because let's look over at the failed tie-up. Even Iceman itself has decided we need to sell to a larger group to sustain growth.
Yes.
So at some point you got to tap out or decide what you want to do. I am not a big corporate guy. I will tell you that now. But at some point,
not at all. Me neither.
Let me tell you, even I have to deal with the reality of you need money at some point to grow. So,
especially when there are other companies in your field that have exponentially more money than you
and resources.
And resources. It's a terrible uphill battle for any startup or any small company that doesn't have the backing that
refuses to be flexible. That's another.
Yes,
issue.
You have to be flexible. You have to be able to make adjustments, and
that's the benefit of being small. When you're small, you're flexible. You should be maneuverable. If you're not being maneuverable and flexible to the market, that's probably an issue.
Yep.
Because you can't compete with the big boys. Like that.
Exactly. And then
girls.
Yeah. And it just creates more frustration and more issues. And you saw with Ice Ribbon, you see what the Actwres with the continued departures from even dating all the way back to, at least Natsupo. It's just it's just that they can't sustain it. It's a frustrating cycle, and you got to be flexible. He's got to make changes. He's got to appeal to the fans more, I think, too, and not in a way of what Marigold did was unforgivable or whatever he said there. I mean, he needs to appeal to the fans and be like, let us just promote. I feel like I'm fighting against a brick wall, and the only person who I knew who had my back in that company is now with Marigold, because Fuka would interact and she would like things, and she would send appreciation that I was promoting the company to English speaking fans, and I know that I wasn't the only English speaking fan she was doing that with. And
let me make this clear. I don't want to say we should all become content farmers. This is not
no. No.
But there is a benefit to promotions for that kind of exposure. It is people pushing your product in an organic way sometimes. That is positive for you.
Yeah, and that's why I got into Joshi wrestling originally. It was mostly Tumblr blogs. I was I was on Tumblr, and people were sharing stuff, and I was like, oh wow, this is so freaking cool. I gotta watch this. And I just downloaded a torrent of random Joshi matches, and I watched a bunch of them, and I'm like, all right, I'm hooked. Just I gotta watch everything possible. And it's just an organic thing. People being organically enthusiastic about it and not feeling like, okay, I have to dial it back because the promotion may literally lash out at me, because that when Calico came out, it was like, don't share things, and it's like all right, I guess we gotta not share things. And like people go back to sharing things after like a few weeks. It's just for a few weeks, it's people like, why are we like, why is this happening? Why can't we do this? And it's like you're pushing away fans who want to organically help you grow your product without even you paying for it. Like it's free advertisement, free everything, and it's just so frustrating. Like music videos and stuff.
I say this as again, the largest wrestling promotion in Japan continues to
That's
pick
true.
fights with people. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Praise be to Cyberfight, who seems to not care.
Yeah.
So, and I believe that's the right tact. But
As long as it's reasonable, like don't post an entire show onto Twitter. Like
yeah,
don't post the
obviously.
entire 2.5 hour video of
Don't
Torek.
post them using copyright music.
Yeah.
That's also don't do that.
Yeah.
But within
But like
limits, I
gifs,
think.
yeah, like 10-second clips of matches. Like who's gonna who's not
Yeah,
gonna sign up for a wrestling service streaming service or not go to a show because I know that cool guy 72 is gonna have my back when he posts a 10-second gif of a Hurricane Rana.
yeah,
No, they probably weren't gonna subscribe anyway.
yeah.
It's yeah, it's so
But they
frustrating.
might buy a T-shirt. They might buy merch.
Yeah,
Just to
exactly.
be cool. I saw.
Yeah, and
I want this Misa Matsui T-shirt because I saw her do a dope ass moonsault, and I want
yeah.
to get it.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's ridiculous because they actually have some of the most easily accessible merchandise and
yes.
streaming service out there. Nets and their YouTube, it's a bit of a mess right now because like they ran out of space on Nets and they're moving stuff over to YouTube as it happens.
I know this might be
As
bad timing, but maybe this might be an opportunity to go talk to Shinzo Takagi about getting on the Cyberfight network. I'm just saying they're looking for content.
not
What a weird
after
time.
not yeah. Yeah, it would be great. I even if they just move everything to YouTube. I know YouTube's not the best at sorting, but they actually have things in playlists on there, so the
Yeah,
older stuff is
again,
pretty solid.
YouTube. I understand there's a lot of reasons Japanese companies don't want to move to YouTube too much.
Yeah.
They want to keep it controlled. YouTube does take its cut, but I will tell you this: YouTube does make it easier for people to access your content at least,
Oh yeah,
because it's like
absolutely.
they will handle a lot of bullcrap for you that you
Yep.
probably don't realize you don't want to do.
And Nets is usually pretty solid, but there are times when it's slow. I don't know if maybe it's like when it usually like the night when a show releases
Yeah,
tends to have a little bit of a slowdown. So it might just be bandwidth. Like you don't have to worry about that with YouTube and Google. It's just so much simpler and easier. And I just, I hope that maybe whatever like web contract they have with Nets runs out, they'll move over to YouTube fully. But it's I understand why they would want to keep the newer
yes,
stuff also in their own bubble, but they also put the new stuff on YouTube in the VR. So they have a weird mix of stuff, and it's kind of a mess, but it is still absolutely one of the most easily accessible promotions for Western fans or just fans
yes.
in general, because you can and also when it comes to like buying merchandise, they have stuff up on Amazon. I don't know if Kitazawa is going to stick around and still design stuff and still sell those. I don't know what's going on
What if he transfers? That was my other thing.
exactly. Like I think that he came in with Fuka, right?
Yeah,
So it's I don't know, but the stuff's still up there. It's still easy to buy. They're great designs. They're inexpensive. They may not be like the highest quality T-shirts, but they are as good as anything on pro wrestling tees. So
sure,
it's
sure, yeah.
totally cool, fun designs, and like, but their actual website and their actual merch store is a disaster. And the only real way
Yeah,
to get stuff is to just go to the show in person and get stuff. And
yes,
that's like even in Japan. And that's got to be so frustrating when like other companies have really figured it out. Like JTO's got a pretty good store. Pure J, I think, has a pretty good store.
Think
Um,
about that comment right there. JTO has a pretty good store. That is a
yeah,
weird. a thing to
Yeah,
say.
it's better than
JTO.
Actwres's.
Taka has finally done something.
Yeah, and like you can message them to order overseas. They say that sometimes they have trouble with the addresses and they can't send it overseas, but you can actually. That's great. But like when I ordered from Actwres through a proxy who was very hands on, because I know that they don't accept American credit cards, it still took almost like 2 months to get my package from them into the proxy box, not even to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
even if you're in Japan, it's going to be like months to get your. I bought a couple of DVDs, a T-shirt, and a acrylic standee, and it took so long.
Yeah, I may not have, or I may or may not have bought some portraits off them recently, and I may have had to have emailed them a couple of times to remind them that I had paid for said portraits
Yep.
to get them.
It eventually came, and I know that like there was an issue where one of the shirts they didn't have my size, and they were like, "Oh no," and I was like, "That's fine." But it is one of those like, but it took like a few weeks for that email to even show up. That okay, we don't have that in your size. But they bring almost like every box they have to the shows. I feel like because when I was there, at least for Korakuen, they had all the DVDs.
Yes.
They even had like some of the throwback T-shirts. So it's not accessible if you're not able to get to the shows and that to support them directly. And that's so frustrating for a fan because you want to support them directly. You want to wear the T-shirt. You want to do that. And, you can watch the shows for a pretty inexpensive price. But, yeah, it's frustrating as a fan to do it. So, yeah. And, like, they need it real. I know the point system, but they need a legitimate ticket system.
Yes.
They do. And that's frustrating too. And, like, the system, another downfall of the system is you see the frustration from like someone like Marino who is begging people to reserve tickets through her. And the best thing she's got going for her, she knows English. And like, I just direct people to her because she can get people tickets. And like, that's why she's, it works out for her. The smaller wrestlers, the newer wrestlers are not going to have that benefit. And they're going to struggle to stay afloat when it comes to like getting booked. And when ticket sales and merch sales determine whether or not you're going to be booked on a show or you're booking or where you're booking on a show, when the ticket system, whenever, when there's no real ticket system and there's no this and there's no merchandise that you could buy online. And even if you do buy merchandise online, it's usually not applied to the points or it's so frustrating that you understand why it's like the system is like bubbling over too. And that's one thing like Marigold, like all of the Actwres girls, the 6 Actwres girls said, do not DM us about tickets. You can only get it through Ticket Pay or Ticketpia, and that's it. And like, that's the way every promotion should operate. You shouldn't have people DMing wrestlers or performers anyway, and especially not for tickets.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah,
I know it's very weird. I appreciate it, but I agree. At some point, DDT is Cyber Fight is cutting it off, and I understand they've reached a point where I think it's completely unwieldy. It's an unnecessary, like, they have the opposite problem of I think their talent just does not have the time to worry about a ticket reservation.
Yeah,
especially if you're getting like hundreds of ticket requests sometimes. So
yeah.
And again, it's inefficient. I understand when you're a newer, maybe a smaller promotion, but again, I think this might be. You're right. It is a gap.
30, like 30 something people under the new system, before the departures. It's going to leave people who are completely in the dark. Yeah, they still got a lot of people.
And they have 2 trainees. They also have 2 trainees. Maybe 4.
I think there's 4. I don't. Some the way it is. They'll announce debut or trainees, and some will just fall off before they ever debut.
I would love to know how many almost trainees we have.
Just when we do the podcast for the eventually do the podcast for the initial season, I will go through just of the people who were in that ring. Like they bring out a bunch of people like, oh, here are the trainees. And I will go through each of them and you will see how many actually, even just from that one batch, the low percentage rate of people who became actual roster members. It's just a common thing, it's, I don't know. Some people get like other gigs or they get other opportunities or they just feel like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe they get hurt or maybe like they think they might get hurt and like, I don't want to do this. It is just part of wrestling.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at look no further than again across the field to Ice Ribbon, who are currently working out how many of their challengers are going to stay, how many of their challengers are going to go.
Yeah. And
fascinating time.
Yeah, and I was saying like Marigold's gonna let people just reserve tickets. Like
I will say,
a ticket system. I think that's great. I think that you just
P is not bad as long as they don't add there is a terrible thing called Pia, or is it Pia? Or I think Pia uses like this thing called Cloak. It is a very bad system. Anyone who's used it in Japan or has had to deal with Cloak, it is not good. I understand it's supposed to help fight ticket reselling. It is bad. So hopefully that's not included in there.
I can't believe I'm actually talking like on behalf of like promoting and saying, oh, ticket brokers are actually good, because my experience in America with Ticketmaster is they are maybe the worst company on the planet to me. But it's just like the talent shouldn't be handling the tickets. It should be the promoter and the promotion. And if Sakaguchi wants to go through every single one of the ticket requests, and it does. They have the email.
Yeah, and to be honest, I wish that was it, because there's a little box at the bottom. If you ever make a request, Actwres Girls email for a ticket as a foreigner.
Yeah.
Number 6, you can just put the name of the wrestler you'd like to show support for.
Yeah.
That I like. That's a nice system. The wrestlers themselves don't have to get involved. I mean, do I feel cool getting a ticket through a DM with Saihara Marino? Yeah, I do. But at the same time, I'd be equally happy just to have her chill and still support her through an email address. That's fine.
I just want them all to turn off their DMs and never have to engage with like some of us, especially me, ever again. It's just like I said, it's just a layer of just unnecessary, and it's just frustrating to the talent. It's frustrating to everyone, and it's another thing that I just think that just should go away. And it's another part of it, especially with like Saihara being so vocal, like, I need people to reserve through me, please, so I get on the show. Like, that's just, you don't want to see that, and that's not a good look. So,
it's a bad look.
Yeah. And then
I mean, again, that's the hustle idle life in Japan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is actually I understand. I want to make it clear that this is also a bigger issue in Japanese entertainment in general.
It's not Actwres exclusive at all.
No.
But it's just the fact that they're so open with the fact that that's how they book the wrestlers and how they decide if they're going to book the wrestlers. That may be the problem for me, but it just is. It is the way that a lot of my tickets and stuff was you ask when I was over there was asking you to reserve through someone or trying to DM Kamiyu to get TJPW tickets or messaging Yappy for Ice Ribbon, and a lot of it was that, and that's just the way things work over there.
Just as a note, even Ice Ribbon has switched to I believe they say that they prefer if you use their new email website-based reservation system.
Good.
You can still reserve through talent, and I believe their new email system or website system, I've only looked at it once, has a drag-down menu where you can select the wrestler you'd like to show support for. So again, another good move, I think, that protects the talent and frees them up to do more important things.
Yeah.
Like Unravel, doing your wonderful weekly show, semi-weekly show.
It's
moving to the 21st. Imagine an NXT wrestler being told you need to handle ticket reservations. Ilya Dragunov does not want to reserve a ticket for you. He's got better things to do.
It's ridiculous. So Yeah, and like that those are pretty much like my big gripes with the system. And like I said, I have a lot of criticisms and things with the promotion, but it's never with the talent. And it's just some of it's just the way things are, and it's frustrating as a fan, and it's got to be even more frustrating as someone who's way closer to it. I know it's frustrated the media, it's frustrated performers, it's frustrated
I'll
other
say this.
promotions.
I'll say this. It's probably frustrating for Sakaguchi too, but I think he's
Yeah,
the one who needs to take a hard look
yeah.
at it and say, "Why am I frustrated?
Yeah,
And I keep ending up here."
he's got to look and say, okay, I'm frustrated, and it keeps happening. Why does this keep happening? Why does nobody want to work with me? Like it's because of stuff like this, and you know, it's just, yeah. And I also want to bring up the partnership with Best Body. I don't know what happened there, but I assume they were trying to salvage it at some point, or at least do something, and at the last minute it fell apart because it was like
It
literally
definitely
like
sounds like it felt like a
the end
last
of
minute.
the end
we
of
couldn't
March
get
was like
this.
it's over. Yeah, and Yamanaka seemed like really like this
A bummer,
what?
a hyper bummer.
Yeah, and she was tweeting like
Sakaguchi,
pictures of her wrestling in Actwres like for the next like month, and she's also
I could see her very much heading down the Flower Road, or at least maybe working with them along the way.
Yeah, she's super talented, and it's like there's not enough eyes on her right now. She deserves so much like just praise as a wrestler. Her run in Actress was really cool.
I believe
really
a mother
hope that
too.
she's a
You
mother.
know me. I'm a big supporter of moms in wrestling. Getting it done.
Absolutely. Like I absolutely appreciate everything she does because she's a mother. She owns a yoga studio.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, she's very busy, and she was still able to like really become a good wrestler and do really cool things in Actress. And the partnership seemed to really work well for her. And the fact that it's over and
she learned Love Riddle. She found the time to learn Love Riddle
Yeah.
dance. Man, she did it all. And she is
she's
doing it all.
an amazing person. And it just sucks that, she's outside the bubble now. But that's just the way things go.
Yeah, but maybe she'll enter a new bubble or garden.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna call themselves, but yeah, whatever. Yeah.
And then
Again,
another
things like that,
frustration.
missed opportunities. Yeah, another frustration. Maybe it's time to reevaluate that. But
yeah,
I think that covers at least my thoughts on the current situation.
Yeah, I think so too. For me, I know like some of them, it's like very nitpicky about certain moments, and like I said before about the end of Step 40, where they could have easily been like, we have some people leaving, let's send them off. We're gonna do the special dance. And like it felt like that would have also like really calmed all of the tensions. And but I also understand like the frustration there too from Sakaguchi, and maybe he was just really upset and didn't want to acknowledge it.
I was bummed because clearly Mari was maybe not in the loop on anything that was going on because she and Rensan were busy off on a play.
Yep, the Matsumi Carino show that
they
were working on together. So that sucks. That just sucks. Just the timing there, and because Mari's such an important part of the company, and her just being left in the dark while she was obviously very much focused on another performance.
Still had performances left in that play, and probably had this on her mind now. It's like, oh well, I got to go back to Actress Girls after this and fix this thing.
Yep, and she'll fix it.
I believe in her.
She will absolutely fix it. All right.
She should.
Well,
yes.
Now that's the current situation. Well, kind of the current situation. And we looked at the past. We looked at all this stuff, and now let's look at the future, because it's got to be
all the way to the year 2000.
Just something. The year 2000. Oh, I gotta add that in. The future is still very bright. I can't like it's 6 people left. The entire main event scene left.
Yeah.
But the future is still insanely bright. And I look back and I think about we've been talking about NXT way too much on this podcast, and I'm going to talk about it even more.
I apologize.
Part of what made NXT so great at its peak was the fact that you knew people were going to leave. You knew
Yeah,
that
you
the
know
main
what?
event scene
That
was
is
going to
true.
ascend
That is
over to the
true.
main roster, and that new people would step up and fill that void. And right now, we're in. Even though the situation is different, where you had an abrupt leave and
Yeah.
you weren't
I
expecting
mean,
them, and the champion
yeah,
left. But even then, the champions left NXT and relinquished belts. So it's
it became like a defining thing for them annually. It's like, oh,
yeah.
here we go.
It's Rumble time and Mania time. Someone's going to debut in the Rumble, and some's going to happen the Raw after Mania, and it's going to be a constant cycle of stuff. And now you have a void at the top of Actwres, just like you would have the void at the top of NXT in April. It's kind of amazing, and there is going to be such a fight for those spots that have been abandoned, and there's no champion now. There's going to be a rush for the gold, and you have people like even Sakura Mizushima, who is like
oh boy,
gunning for it. You have Ayano, who's gunning for it, and Mari's going to want to claim it back because she lost to someone who left, and she's going to want that belt back to be like, all right, let me prove again that I can do it, and it's going to be an exciting run. And Step
first
41,
two-time AWG champion,
yeah. And Step 41 was just a fantastic show. The first show after the departures was really, really good. And you were there.
I was there live. I'll say the vibe positive. Yeah, the fans were there. The diehards were there.
Yeah,
I'm surprised some new fans were there as well.
Watching it on Nets, the energy was like twice what it normally is. Like, these girls now have a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to like fucking prove that they belong, and there's a reason that Actwres should exist, and they're gonna keep this company alive no matter what, because maybe it's we're saying loyalty to the company, but maybe it's just because it's loyalty to each other and to support each other and uplift each other, and to really, it's a special place to them. And I know it's a special place to Miku and to Sumikawa and to
I don't want to take that away from that.
Because I know it's a special place to all of them, because it's where they grew, and it's where Sumikawa just got her legs back under her, and it's where Misa went from like this sparkling rookie to now a actual like the speed star we know. There is so much for them to be thankful for, and to see it as special. And I think that everyone who comes through it sees it as special. And we're frustrated with Sakaguchi, and I know fans are, and I know that the talent are, but Actwres, like we said, has it's a company with its own personality. It always has had its own personality. And it's so unique, and the people it brings in are so unique. And I think that everyone wants to root for the people who are still there, because they're such likable people, and most of them have very relatable stories. Like Naho, coming from the performance and stage and TV and stuff, and just betting on herself, like friends with Act and doing Kaguya, and then now having a one-on-one with her in Step 41. It was a great match, and you could tell Act really cared so much about that match and cared so much about Naho, and Naho wanted to prove herself, and she made a statement for herself. Maybe she's going to be one of those people to fill that void.
Again, exciting for some talent, probably because there's a void to fill.
Yeah, and
right?
I've talked in the past about how it seemed like Naho got passed over, or at least like not passed over, but like kind of lost in the shuffle, where she was in Teppen, and Cat Mask had the breakout match. Asahi, was Asahi, fantastic wrestler, and
always,
and Misa really becoming a very well-rounded superstar, and she was just kind of
clearly the lead of Teppen.
Yeah,
clearly, she was the one.
And Naho was there, and she was growing alongside of them, but I wouldn't say that she was just along for the ride, but she was just kind of out, like the people around her shine a bit brighter. And even though she had the megaphone and she was screaming, and she's the loudest person on any Actwres show, I feel like just the focus wasn't on her, and now she's the last one left in Teppen, and she's dedicated to Teppen still. So I'm really excited to see what happens with that too. She's just someone you want to cheer for, and she just got that great personality. She has a magnetic personality, I'm looking forward to what's next for her because she could fill a void that Misa was in, and that's
Absolutely,
big.
absolutely.
No,
And she's improving every day, every match. I see her, and I'm like, the megaphone superstar is doing it. And
yeah,
I'm happy to say that she definitely has the fan support. At the
oh yeah,
merch, so always a
that's great.
positive.
That's
Yeah.
always great to hear. Always,
Um.
always great to hear.
Yeah, and I'm excited for her. That was again a great match. Act brought her A game. She was like, "I'm gonna make Naho look amazing here," and
Yep.
again, Act dedicated to I think making sure people remember that this is still a Actwres Girls is still a threat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Act is just like gonna turn this frustration she's had for the last year or so and turn it just into like this fire that she's gonna fuel. And like I've noticed that they moved her and Maru down to the bottom of the roster stuff,
Yeah.
and I think that's because I think that they're seen now as these guiding beings. Maru's
Yep.
got all
Yep.
this experience, Act's got all this experience, and there's so much that they can learn, that the roster can learn from them, and they're pretty much the last two, like them and like Madi and stuff, but like those two are like the real veterans they can learn from, and
Literally.
especially with
Yeah.
Fuka gone, it's
Yeah,
they're
very interesting because I felt like I'm sure Maru was doing training, but I felt like Maru was here kind of for the ride and to bring her actor friends in, and now she's kind of been thrust into the mentor role. I don't know if she
yeah.
was looking
And
for
same with
that.
Act. Act's been open about saying, I wasn't here to do this, especially because especially when she made the jump from being GPS affiliated and then
Yes,
officially
yeah, yeah.
Actress. So she said like, oh, she didn't expect to be training or doing that, but she found herself more in a mentorship role, and she wanted to expand on that with the jump, and that was really cool. And now it's she's pretty much got no way out at this point.
Yep.
She's gonna be that guiding role, and it's because I know like you had when you watch the videos and stuff and the stuff of them training, it was pretty much like led by committee almost, like Sumikawa and
Yep.
Miku, Misa, Asahi, um, Act as well. But like most, like Act, I think still takes a step back when it comes to actually training and wrestling. But it's they lost a lot more than just wrestlers. They lost like but again, for people at that point in their career, should they be out there as the training crew by committee?
Yes.
Like Mari is more than capable, and she's done so much. The people who are there, they're there willingly, and they're gonna enjoy training these people and shaping the future. And Naho is absolutely just one of those bright stars of the future for the company. And then the next match on Step 41 was Bulldozer and Asako.
Oh boy.
Insane combo against
I
Kiran and Rensan, which is another incredible
believe they call
combo.
themselves the end of the century.
I believe so.
I believe, which is hilarious.
Just I laughed the whole match, and I was like, "We're
Yeah.
back, we're back."
Yeah.
The ending was crazy with
The ending, yes.
Asako with the spray bottle of Asako juice, and Ishiguro just getting in the. It was just unbelievable, just so much fun, and like I said, it's for a first show back. You kick it off with a great kind of like, all right, like almost a career defining match for Naho. Like, all right,
Yep.
like we still have the bright future, and then you have we still have the absolute silliness. We still have
Yes.
the fun charm of these shows, and then you had it was just a lot of fun. And anything to add when you were there in person?
No, I agree. I think the talent came out. They knew they had a mission here, and again, all of them are entertainers from other industries. They know when they got to go out there for the fans and put on a show.
Yep.
And I'll say this, yeah, Marino looking to step up.
Yep.
during that Greatest Sako match, I think everyone was in it to win it.
Yeah,
As far as
and
like
like
fans were like,
I made a
they
comment
wanted to
on
celebrate this.
I made a comment on Twitter about like Kira An and like watching her. You know, she's usually a little bit rough in the ring, and that's kind of her style. She's like the shoot fighter of Actwres.
Yeah,
And watching her, she did like a was it knees off the rope to Todoroki, but like watching her kind of take care of her there and all. I was like, I was like, all right, like everyone's still kind of in sync. Everyone's still, it's gonna be okay. Like everything's gonna be good.
I think people forget also. Yeah, Kira An has probably more experience than a lot of these other talents because she's actually been trained elsewhere.
Yep.
And also as a shoot fighter. But yeah, I mean, she was definitely someone who's I could see going like, well, I got to step up. Yeah. And I don't even know if that was her intention when she joined Actress Girls.
I think she was just there to have fun and just have a gig, and now she's like even she's been pretty fired up about the departures. Like she's been fired up and like I don't want to say upset because I think she's just like using that as like as fuel to like, all right, we gotta do this, we gotta keep going. And
I'm always interested. I'm interested in her deal because I have no idea how she's done a couple of outside shows as an actress girl, including going all the way to Korea to wrestle with former actress girl Motani.
Maybe she just doesn't listen. She's just her own person. I admire that about her. She just does what she wants.
That's what I really like about her character and her personality. And I don't know. So she seems to have Sakagushi's trust, so I guess that's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really fun match. That reminded me of the flavor of Actress Girls.
Yeah.
Everyone knew their mission. Ishiguro was there in full Ishiguro comedy ref force. Just sacrificing his body.
No better comedy ref on the planet. Except for the times that Tommy was really into it in those early Actress shows, but Ishiguro is so.
Oh, I miss Tommy at Actress Girls because she always would have a time with it.
And then next was the 3-way, which pretty much is like, okay, this is going to be the future right here. We have Sakura, we have Ayano, and we have Kyoka. And like Kyoka, again, lost in the shuffle. She missed some dates because of performances, and I believe her father passed away, so she has been out of the scene for a bit. And she's back.
Yeah.
And
she's
trying to find footing again. This is a great opportunity for her because she's up against one of the, in my opinion, the best of the post 2021 debuts with Mizushima. Like she's just such a well-rounded person, well-rounded performer, and I think that she's got so much potential even beyond what she is now. She's someone who could really build a future around. She's got things that remind me of I know even like some of the stuff that she does. She's got limitless potential. You got Ayano, who's like one of the very, very few now left over, and she is, trying to show, okay, I'm an original, and we're gonna go for the belt, maybe. Like we're gonna do it finally, and then
for me, I always felt like Ayano was very happy to be off the main event. She's like, I'm having fun. I have my fans, but now she's like, well, I'm gonna step up. I kind of have to.
She has the path. She has a path to the championship, and she's going to go for it because it's presenting itself to her. And I think that even with the departures, you got to think about in the storyline in the universe of Actwres, Mari, me, and Ayano, they got to be like playing defense now because like some of the big names left, and it's them. And then it's a whole bunch of people who are now hungry and they see like the void. They're gonna feel that. They're gonna feel that. They're gonna fight so hard to fill that space, and they got to play defense now because like, okay, we're the ones who are left here, and we gotta hold and we gotta fight off the kids. So Ayano's position in this match is that, and Kyoka, is trying to find stable footing again after just a few different start and stops. I mean, she had the win against Miku and all that, but I feel like it's still like start and stop for her. And I think that it's a big thing that what comes after this match for her too. But we'll get into that after that. But yeah, Mizushima wins, pins Ayano with her trademark trapping pin, which has been very, very effective lately. Been very, very cool to see. So I think that like I don't like to review shows. I don't like to do this. I don't like to say the right person won, but I feel like for the future of the promotion, the right person won this match.
Absolutely.
And Ayano still looked strong in defeat, and she also said, "I'm going to still shoot for the belt," and then you had Kyoka after the match. Ren-san came out and they reformed Eyes, and I really hope that it has a more clear direction this time. But I know Ren-san has voiced frustration about what happened with Eyes, and Ren-san on Threads of all places was talking about the frustration with Eyes
again, and maybe because a certain someone isn't there on Threads.
And I'm glad that that it's back, and that they're both of them are going to have hopefully a clear, defined partnership. I think Kyoka's still with Jidoshu. I don't really understand that. Maybe Eyes is like an offshoot. I don't know. It might be like before. We'll see.
I believe that's part of the story.
Yeah. I think it's going to play out, and we'll see where it goes. But and then like it was funny because they did that whole thing, and then like they played Sakura's music after, and she just takes her final bow before leaving the ring.
Yes. That was charming. I thought that.
Yeah, but so Sakura is really one of the, like, if I had to pick the best of the debuts, it would be her, Naru, and Natsuki right now.
Yes, right now, yes. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
And Kanamiku's like knocking on that door too.
And she has come up extremely fast.
Yep.
My only concern is one day Mayumi Ozaki is going to see her and say, I need the smallest Sekigun member ever. And we're going to lose her. Because I know that she's a big Oz fan. So
that
would be tragic. Oh no, you know what? Mission K4. We need another K. Let's reform it.
And that works.
Yep. Anamiku. There we go.
And then and then the next match was, we talked about it briefly before, Maru against Calico. That's Calico's last match in Actwres Girls. And this ruled. It ruled.
A brilliant ambush by Calico.
Yep.
A tactical genius level maneuver to take out Maru early on, and it went all over Shinkiba.
Yep. It was
a beautiful match. Yeah. Emotional.
Yep.
Great story again.
Yep.
Yeah.
The chain Maru with the chain hanging her from the stands in Shinkiba.
Yeah.
Just so many cool things. So many things that like seen in Shinkiba in the past. You saw like just Maru dealing out the punishment that she does, and then you saw like Jidoshu get involved. Then you saw Calico, rip off the pants again and get to that mode.
On. Yep.
Like, oh shit, it's happening. Then you saw her step it up, pick up the speed, pick up the pace, and then Maru unmasks her.
Yeah.
Maru unmasks her, reveals that she's been Yasuka Nakayama all along.
Although she became Calico at the end during merch, she put the mask back on.
Good.
But you know what? Give the fans what they want on your.
Exactly. People let us see Calico. Yeah. But it was just a really, really incredible moment, and you had Naho run in to try to protect Calico. It was Teppen's last ride. It was Calico's last match. There was just so much to it, and it was such an emotional battle. Calico really is a special talent and a big wrestling fan, and someone that I really hope whatever's next for her is just everything she desires, because she's just so talented, and she does so many things in the ring that, like, obviously are from like acting and stuff that really just, it's such a great pairing for her style, and it's something that's really gonna like just do her insanely well just in the future. She's gonna have such a unique style, even if she joins something like Marigold or Stardom or whatever,
or just freelancers.
Yeah, freelancers. She's gonna stand out. She's really gonna stand out, and whether she's under the mask or not, too, it's gonna be just so exciting to watch her, and I just can't wait to see what's next for her. And it was just, I think that sentiment was just echoed through the entire show for her, from the fans, from the roster, even from Maru. And in the opening dance, like Naru grabbed Calico and like shoved her up onto the rope so she would take a bow. It was just really nice to see that everyone just has so much love for her. And I wish we had that with the other members.
Yes,
with other people who left.
When I was watching that, I was like, I wish this had been how we say goodbye to the other members. This would have been my ideal.
Yeah,
way to do
but
that.
it was nice to at least see it for Calico.
Yes, yeah.
And then and then next was the tag match, Mari and me, which is always a great teaming against Marino and Nagisa. And
that's a low key like treat. I think if you're a longtime Actwres Girls fan, anytime you see Mari and me tagging together, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a good one.
My favorite's the Skyrex show where Kuma-chan had the sword. Kuma-chan had the sword, and it was a very dangerous situation. But so like the Skyrex show is an all-time favorite show of mine. I watch it all the time. I had Pedro over Mania Weekend. I made him watch it, so it really is something I have to watch. And that teaming is always great. And the Kuma-chan was like the star of the match too, of this match. It just felt like this match just felt like home. Like I'm watching a color show. I'm watching an Actwres show. I'm finally watching an Actwres show again. After the 2 weeks of just turmoil and question marks and everything that's happened, it just felt finally okay. We're back to it. This is like, even though the show had matches that felt right, this was the first one I was like, we're back and we're cooking. And the Kuma-chan stuff was amazing. I loved it when Mari had Kuma-chan in the ring and then got him out of there, and there was fluff in the ring, and Ishiguro was like, there's fluff in the ring. I know what happened here.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't do anything to stop it, Ishiguro. But
Ishiguro is perfect because he is a man who's seen this too many times.
Yes. It was just so many fun little bits there. And then as the match progressed and the Kuma-chan bits kept happening, it wasn't like the more recent matches with me where you get maybe one of the big, like, smacks her in the head with Kuma-chan for 30 seconds and then gets thrown out of the ring and then maybe makes an appearance later on. No, it was like almost a common thing in the match, and that Kuma-chan really did have a big workout in that match. But you also saw like Saihara and Nagisa get more and more determined as the match happened, because like we can't get embarrassed like this, and they just turned it up, and like Nagisa really has just added so much to her arsenal. I feel like every time she's been out the last couple of months, she's had a new move, and I feel like that's good, but also it kind of maybe she was expanding it too quickly, and she's kind of stopped and now focused a bit on perfecting everything, and everything she did looked really smooth, especially that flipping trap that she does. It's hard to tell what it is from, like, they always the camera angle is always the one from the mat when they show it.
Yeah. The way I describe it is it's if you guys know, if fans out there know, Saki Akai's Quetzalcoatl.
Yes.
It is kind of like that. It is not exactly the same, but the result is very similar, and the setup is also very similar. So she basically flips over, and then it's basically like a back bump for the other person, into a roll up situation.
Yeah, and it looks like so good now. She's really
started.
I think
she got her own spin on it.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's part of where I think that when you expand your moveset so much so quickly, you might not be able to focus on certain things. But now that she's expanded it, and now she's able to kind of refine it, and it's really benefited her well. And Marino now with the new look and the new everything, she's got a new energy to her. I'm still looking forward to what comes next for her, because I feel like she's still like transitioning from like a more comedic superhero to now really embracing the superhero role. And I think that that's part of what's going to fuel her going.
Going literally from I'm going to cosplay my favorite Marvel character to I'm going to mix all the bits together to make something a little more original.
Yes.
And yeah, she's tuning it in.
Yeah, it's great. And she's got a great creative mind, and she's doing a lot of really cool things beyond just the in-ring stuff. And, we'll get to that as we get more into the future of what's going on. So yeah, it's this match was great. And it just felt like a colors match, from 2020, 2021. I felt like I was just back watching my favorite era, even though there were two new faces there. You could have slotted them in for, Ayano and Misa or something. It felt like, okay, we're back to what we're expecting. And it just shows how far this crew has grown too.
Yes.
So, and then the main event was another incredible example of that, because it was all new debuts, from the new system.
They said, Naru, guess what? All the new kids.
Yep. Prove you belong here in the main event. You've got the platform now. So and Naru and Natsuki is a team that we've seen before in another environment, and we know how in sync I just think of how in sync they were as the Shell All tag team. Seeing that in person, especially, just magic. And I hope it becomes a more permanent thing in Actwres. And then you have Kanemiku and Rico Miku, that team, who have been on a tear too. And Kanemiku is just really cool. They made it to the finals of the tag tournament, and then they lost to the departing team. But it is what it is there. It is what it is there. But Rico's been slowly, like I said, a lot like Nagisa, expanded the moveset really fast. Some of the stuff didn't quite hit perfectly, but now we're starting to see when she does that armbar transition, it looks so good.
Yeah.
And things like that. And she's working a lot more of shoot fighting stuff into her style. I mean, it's good to see, because that's in her family. She had her brother is a actual MMA fighter, professional MMA fighter. Yes, so it's seeing that kind of brought into her stuff now, and also that she's wearing the Hoshiki gear again. It's a perfect pairing. Seeing the kicks and the submissions and the groundwork, she's really found her groove again. I really liked her gear and her stuff as the heel and as the Beast member, but I really like what she's doing now too. So I think that she's added so much flexibility, and even when she was doing Actwres time, she was back to the Beast appearance. So she got kicked out. She's no longer part of it, but I don't know what's going to happen now, because Chaki's gone, and I don't know what's with Beast. So we'll see how that all plays out. But here it's the story of those two, of Kanemiku and Rico. And I mean, they're a great team. Kanemiku is just someone who you can't help but root for. Everything she does is brilliant. In the finals match, she did the 2 sentons, one from the second, one from the top rope. She's just really she understands the build and the way to build a match, and to craft a match in a way that gets people so invested, and that she's just got something there that you look at her on the surface she's like a cutesy idol wrestler, and she'll probably do some cool things, but she understands wrestling in a way that I feel very few do. I talk about her stablemates with Sakura. She's someone who also understands it at that level, and it's something that I feel like her being a fan really
helps.
Gets.
Yes, yeah.
And she's always watching and learning, and she's you see her at Dragon Gate shows, you see her at at AJPW. She's always studying. She's someone who understands it, and I'm really glad that she's got this platform. And now again, like as we saw the 6 departures, she could depart one day, but I'm glad that she's spending this time here, and she's really. I feel like maybe she wouldn't have been able to have this growth as a performer if she was somewhere else, because she came in with the voice acting crew with Nagisa and Sakura and Kawara, and she came after them. So it's cool to see that, like, maybe that was a door that she didn't expect to be open ever, and now she's able to do it.
I think a great example of someone who maybe if had come to another promotion to try to enter, might not even have lasted as long as she has, or had the opportunity to grow.
People may not even entertain the thought. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's, again, one of those just weird things about Actress Girls system, which, as flawed as it is, I think gives people opportunities that maybe would not otherwise happen.
We could talk about this is already a long podcast, but we could go even longer, deeper into the criticism and also the benefits of the system. It really is like, there's a reason why they produce some of the best and most beloved talent in Joshi. There's a reason why. I
watched Tae the other day and just thinking, oh man, Tae is just one of the best Joshi Pro wrestlers right now.
Yep.
Just so flexible, can do any kind of match. It's just there's a reason we all scream Tae when she comes out. Not because the demon robot voices tell us to.
No. She's incredible too. I would love to see her doing more than what she's just doing now, but I think that she's got a big opportunity coming up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that as well. And I really she was in Ice Ribbon for a bit, and she had some cool stuff there, but now she's kind of like Diana, home based, which is awesome. So
I love it. As someone who is living relatively close to the Diana Dojo, this has been a wonderful time to be a Tae.
It's great. I love to see her just on bigger stages too, but she's doing really cool things now. Anyway, so I just, you always want to see people just do big things, and especially like after they've left Actwres Girls, because you see what some of the others have done. So and then they fought. Riko Miku fought Naru and Natsuki, and Naru and Natsuki is just a great team. Two people who really do have ace potential now in the system. Now that there's just spaces open at the top, those are two people who I really think are going to fill those voids. I don't think that. I think those are two locks. Naru is one of the most athletic people in any ring anywhere, and Natsuki is really, really well-rounded. I think it's almost like surprising how well-rounded she is, because you see her do the kicks, like, oh, those kicks are really cool. She gets up on the rope, she does the knees and stuff. She does. And she has a really, really competent ground game too. She has all the tools, and she's got a great personality to kind of like, again, you want to cheer for her because she just is someone you want to cheer for, like just the way that she just presents herself as a performer. So that's such a great team, and two more people who are undeniably the future of the promotion. If they stay there, and if this promotion sticks with them and sticks with it, they are the future. They are people you can build a promotion around. And 2 years after the debut and a restructuring, they're the veterans now. Those two.
Yep.
It's really amazing, and there's just such a bright future there for them and for the promotion if they can just figure out a way to make things work beneficially for everyone. Like, we went through that a bunch, but so that was step 41. It was a great show.
It was fantastic.
From start to finish.
Coming off all the turmoil, I think it was exactly the show they needed.
You got every little bit of every taste of Actress Girls in there. Like, you had the Mii Chaos, you had the Great Osako doing what Great Osako does. You had a great future focused match with Act and Naho, and you had a beautiful send off with Calico and Maru, which it was something that really did. If Calico were staying, I would be talking about it just like I was talking about Naho against Act. Another star building performance. So, and then it's just a great tag team match that showcases the future
performance. Yeah, it's just maybe not in Actwres Girls.
Yeah.
I think it establishes a lot of great stuff. Kind of like I think it reassures the Actwres Girls fans that this is a promotion that still has more than enough deep of a bench, arguably, possibly again too deep of a bench. For all that talent to shine properly, but I watched. I'm like, we're still in it. We're still in it.
Yep. Absolutely. It was definitely like a reassuring watch to go, okay, like there's still something here. And like it was just like watching those early Act Wrestling shows, and you're just like, all right, there's still something here. There's still the magic still exists. So, despite
much
the circumstances.
How I felt after watching after the last reboot, after the ending of the Beginnings Color era, going in and then watching that first show. After that, I'm like, oh yes, okay, we are still. I think it was
Girls. I think it was step 4 that really hit for me, and I was like, like before I was like, okay, they're still trying to figure things out, but by the 4th show, I was like, all right, we're there, we're where we need to be, yeah,
absolutely.
And then was it after the show where like Ayano and me, or it might have been after the previous match where Ayano and me and Mari were talking in the ring. I was like, oh, this is who's left. It was very much like this is who's left. And you have the young wrestlers now gunning for them, and it's going to be an exciting dynamic going forward. And like now that I can consider Naru and Natsuki veterans is crazy, but they really are now veterans of the promotion.
Yeah, there are people I would turn to of like, I need a good match or I need someone to lead this match. I would either choose Naru or Natsuki now.
Yep. And like speaking of Natsuki, she was in a faction, the Royal.
Yep, that's right.
So we got to talk about these factions. What do we think's going to happen with these factions?
I think even Teppen and Royal are maybe finished. Josha I could see continue. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Because you have Maru, and that feels very much like a Maru project. So I think we're okay there. I don't have.
Same. I think Jadoshu they didn't like lose any people really. They and they're what they are. They're almost like a bubble in their own of their own, which is great.
Beast is interesting.
Because they were built kind of around, okay, Chiaki is going to kind of take the reins here, and then she's gone. So now Ayano's got to get back into that role. So that's going to be interesting to see where that shakes out. They did try to recruit Naho, I believe. To recruit Naho. So Naho emphatically was like denied it. But
maybe Naho just keeps Teppen going under something else. New gen Teppen.
Yep. And Nene is still there, so we still got the muscle in Beast. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. Updates the same. I can't see anything happen to Update. Maybe Update just takes in Naho.
Oh, that'd be something. Yeah.
Because they are allied. The Royal though, I think that's over. That
feels like it's probably done.
It really built around Sumikawa and Koki, and that's it.
I don't think Natsuki needs it.
No,
she's got more than enough going on. She could probably start a new thing.
I could see Natsuki even like, and maybe a couple others just kind of latching on to even like a Teppen, a growing Teppen.
Yeah. Or maybe it's time for Mari to finally form a faction.
True. And Marino, I feel like Marino's wanted to be in a faction. And maybe Marino finally, maybe you build a Teppen with Natsuki, Marino, and Naho. You've got something there. So it's something that and you still got like like a Yufa, who's pops in every once
Yufa
in a
floating
while.
around, You
Yeah.
have Yui Tenshoku, who's always
Yep.
I feel like just a few seconds from becoming a breakout star, just because again, yet another person who has
So much on
a
her plate.
passion, too much on her plate. She said it on Twitter. She said it publicly many times. She still has dreams of being a big voice actress.
Yeah.
That's one of her dreams, and I think again, outside of Actress Girls, I don't know if she would have ever wrestled, because she would have been like, I don't have time for this. But Actress Girls affords her, I think, the ability to possibly chase this and continue her pursuit of voice acting.
Yeah.
So I'm always grateful for that. But yeah, I mean, Yui would be Yui's a person I feel like actually probably more than enough justifies booking her often. It's just she is too busy to actually be booked.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or otherwise we'd see her far more than we probably already do.
Yeah.
But,
and she's got a great presence too, and she's got power. Every time she's been in the ring, it's been like a really fun thing to watch. So I really, if I was going to reboot the Royal, she would be one of those people I would put in that role, because she's kind of almost like a I don't want to say a Koki equivalent, but she's got qualities that remind me of like, okay, she's got presence, she's got skill. People see her and go, okay, she's a star.
Yeah. So she's one of the taller performers as well in the promotion. Yeah. So.
And then
maybe not 170 centimeters, but she's up there.
Yeah. And then
she's not me tall. I mean, who is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
World's tallest human, Ami Miura. But speaking of Ami Miura and factions, Actwres. So Actwres is going to be interesting to going forward, because Gem is Gem is essentially non-existent. Hagakure continues to lose people. Skyrex continues to lose people. I don't know how they're going to restructure stuff. They do have the lineups revealed for the May 31st show, but they're only 2 or 3 members for everyone, I think, except for Shello. So it's not a full show. It's gonna be rough, a rough rebuild, and they do just retire factions without any fanfare. So I think that Gem is probably going to be gone. Bijou is on the new show. They only lost Miku.
Yep.
It's gonna be
obviously a big loss still, but
Yeah, but it was kind of built out of the remnants of Red Fragment.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. Rico's there, Yui's there. It's gonna be that's gonna be a fun one to watch, because everyone there is really talented and really performance driven now. And yeah, I like Bijou. But Miku is such a big loss for them. She just added that. She added that like kind of legitimate like style to them, and tied it all together. But the people left are going to be pretty good. Hagakure again is now down to 2 people, which really
But they've already flirted with a replacement, River Owl. So we're we might be able to recover from this a little easier.
They did say that one of the trainees is training for Hagakure, and I think one for Kaguya. Yeah. So I think that that's good. Sucks that we're losing Nakayama, because she's great in River Forest Owl, and like
who covered for her again? Because I have the portrait somewhere here.
It was Mana.
Yes,
Mana Yamashita.
Mana, yes, I have. I may or may not have accidentally had Nakayama sign a portrait that had her on it, and didn't realize it until Nakayama was like, "You want me to sign this?" I'm like, "Yes."
That's great. But yeah, that's great, and like they're a fun crew, and I just hope that they find like that dynamic was very unique too with them. So I really hope that they can dive in there, especially after Ty left. And after Ty left, the whole dynamic of the crew shifted too. So it was really, really fun to see that shift. And we'll get another shift here. And then Skyrex is pretty much just
they've
Kyoka
returned to the comic dimension.
Yeah, Kyoka and Ishikawa, and it's Alan and Misa. Big losses there. Misa
Big
was
losses. I'll miss Alan. I'm glad she's moving on to do something else that she enjoys. Yeah.
I love Misa's character story of like, you know, being unfamiliar with the wrestling and just like kind of bubbling up in that first prologue show and just kind of like figuring it out in the ring, and it was so cool. And Skyrex is gonna have to go through a rebuild. I mean, they have replaced people.
My brain starts to think about mergers. You know, when we start merging weird teams together. Because you know,
do you form an alliance to get those sacred treasures?
Yeah, because I remember Marino saying it feels like a superhero movie where now we might have to cross over. Some of these teams, right?
Yep.
That's what you do. All of a sudden, you have a ninja and a former bounty hunter team up to go look for these precious relics, and the leader of a comic book fighter pilot team have to team up to form a supergroup. I'm all for it. Maybe you know what?
Greatest
Maybe
enemy strongly resembles Tai Honma.
Yeah, we get Purple Tai back.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unprecedented that someone like Tai Honma could come in for a couple of shows here or there. She's done it for 2.9, so why not? I would love to see that.
You know, I want that third part of 2.0. They ended it on a cliffhanger. I would love to see that, and that's still have Natsuki, so we're fine there. I think they can still do another 2.0.
Yep. And then Kaguya's still in the same situation they were in. Shello lost Clam. Right. That's rough. But
that's a rough one.
But they still mostly at full strength compared to some of the other ones. We're good there.
Relatively unscathed. Relatively.
Yeah, relatively. I mean, Clam's a big loss, and Clam was a big focus on the prologue shows, especially because she beat Tai and but it's, you know, maybe they'll find someone to replace Koki, so that would be interesting. So I now that I talk through it, it doesn't seem as much dire straits for the for all of the factions, but it's still, you know, Gem is officially, not officially, but essentially done.
Yes.
Skyrex is rough. Hagakure is rough, but I feel like there's chances of rebounding there. And Hagakure's been in like this. They've even worked it into their performances where they're looking for members, and they even handed out flyers at the show we went to. So and Biju's strong with the core that they have. Skyrex is strong with who's left. They have 2 people left, but I think that the actual faction is compelling enough to drive to keep it around. I think the only one is just Gem with just kind of Miku left as Alice. I don't think you could build a thing around that. She could join Star Magi as another thing.
Join Ayano's if we say it,
exactly. Too. I was thinking that would be another great fit for her too. I mean, she could even join like Hagakure as another, like, you know, misfit ninja. So
I can see that.
Totally option. She could even be the new Momo.
Oh, the dream!
Finally get the new Momo
was realized.
Yes. So there's a lot of things that could happen here, and I'm excited for it. Now that I was like going to be, this is going to be a disaster going in there, but they got the special stage coming up.
Yes.
They've got the at Osaka Comic-Con. They've got this. It's going to be fun to watch what happens. And then, now I have 2 questions for you. And we've definitely talked about it throughout this, but I want to just drill it in so we could soundbite this somewhere.
Nice.
Who who is going to fill that void at the top? Who are your? Let's go with the three because we have who are the three that will fill the void at the top?
Well, I'm always a Mari guy. I could see Mari stepping back up right to
Absolutely.
the top. Natsuki is an obvious call.
Yep.
I feel Natsuki is always oh, that's an easy one. Talented. She's clearly driven, popular. And I will say maybe a little bit outside, but I could see Act stepping up and as
it depends on a lot of it depends on outside stuff. I feel like she
outside
still
factors.
has her eyes set on America, but I know that she also knows that she's needed at Actwres, and I think that she feels very much like I think she enjoys what she's doing with Actwres. So I think that she just wants to make sure if she leaves it, it's not in a bad state or in an abrupt way. So I think she wants to make sure that she knows she can go to America for 3 months and not have the place completely fall apart. Like when Mari leaves for 3 days for a performance.
Yes. That was a bit of a thing for them.
Yeah.
Again, you work with actresses. This is a reality you have to deal with.
Yep.
But yeah, I can see. Yeah, that would be my three. It's probably and who else? Who else would slot in there?
I would say more of the people who debuted after the reboot.
Oh, the reboot. Okay, then after the reboot, it's like Natsuki, Mizushima, 100%.
Yep.
Right, and then I maybe not. Well, yeah, I know it's actually an old hand now. Who would my third slot be for? I guess she after the reboot, maybe actually Maru. If Jadosha gets the one faction that survived all of this.
Yeah, and even though she debuted many years ago, but she's someone who hasn't been in the main event. Well, she has been, but like in a weird way. I think that maybe a bit more seriously and a bit more of an actual threat for a championship. I think that definitely she's got everything she needs to step up there. For me, it would be almost similar. I would go with Sakura Mizushima. Yep. She is just again, since very early on, I was on board with her.
Always bet on the Miz,
Yep, the Miz, world champion one day. But I do want to kind of just give it different three. I would say Naru, obviously.
I think Naru could absolutely also do it. Yes,
Naru. She's like I said, she's got such great athleticism and just flashy moves, just exciting stuff.
Yeah,
you put her in Actwres time, and the people were going like this stuff. So it's
fantastic gear.
Yeah, fantastic gear. So someone who really and like the kind of changing hairstyle, not quite Arisu Endo, but willing to change her hairstyle often. Yep. So someone who
apparently too often because she's complaining now her hair has maybe been a bit dinged up from too much changes.
Yeah, but also such as being an actress, right?
Yeah.
She had the pink hair, now the black hair, and I think she had the gray hair for a bit, the silver hair. So for different performances.
Yeah. This is the life. But actress, avid cosplayer. It's just the reality you live with.
Yep. Yeah.
She should do wigs. That's what she should do.
Yeah.
More wigs.
Yeah. Like my heart wants to say Kyoka, but I just haven't seen enough when it comes to actually a definitive.
For me, Kyoka's biggest issue is she's so busy with her performances outside.
Yeah, and then when she's dedicated to it. Yeah, and when she starts to have a direction, it seems to just kind of the momentum stops because she's got to go and work on something. So I think that's the one thing that really puts me not wanting to say that she's going to be one of those that could potentially fill the void. I think, I think Kanamiku actually has a shot to do it because she is such a easy to cheer for person. She's on a lot of shows. She's shown a lot of growth, and she's shown a lot of heart. she's someone who could definitely do that. And yeah, there's just a lot of like interesting moving parts in that lower card that I think could break out. My last would be Naho. She
Oh yeah,
of the
yeah,
three,
another
because
good call.
yeah, Naho. Last year I said that Rico might be the breakout star of the year, and I think that she still can be. But I think that there's just a race to the top, and I think that she's not quite there. But I think Naho has just enough of a head start on people like like Rico, like Nagisa, like Kyoka, where I think that she's got that energy, and she's now determined because she's the last remaining member of Teppen, and she has the spirit of the people who have left Teppen, who are either no longer with us or no longer with the company, and she's gonna use that to fuel herself towards really inserting herself into that upper tier. And I think that
100%. Yeah.
I
And
think that I think that
the
like
talent,
those are
look, gear, all of it.
yeah. And here's the next question, which I know we have answered: Is Actwres still worth paying attention to?
Yeah, and that's, I think, undeniable. I mean, if you listen to this podcast this far, you know the answer to this question.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, we've discussed it at length. I think, and I might even talk about it more in the future. But the idea that whether they ever become a bigger promotion or not, I think there will always be a very interesting promotion, because
Yes.
their approach to talent development is very different from other people. And I think it gives, again, people like you said that might not have the ability to go through with like a full-on pro wrestling dojo, like going to like Seed or Marvelous or something, and it gives them the time to grow and the opportunity to also. I think what I like about it is they really get the opportunity to develop their own take on pro wrestling. It's not like, oh, you're gonna wrestle this style because that's what we teach here. It's like, no, we're going to teach you the bare minimum to be workable in this ring, and then you layer on whatever outside stuff you have going on. Like Rensan, I love Rensan. I think she's honestly one of my favorites. Would she have made it through any other dojo? Probably not. But as Kanren, as in Ice, she's developed and she keeps getting better every time, and her character is always there. It's always fantastic.
Yeah. I think about like people like who are criticizing or commenting on stuff like Kanamiku's bridging suplex. It like didn't look as polished. And I remember Fuka like replying like, isn't that awesome? Like that, just the way that like their mentality of it is like these, like they're not as intensive of training. It's they're able to make mistakes. They're able to have imperfect looking moves, able to have imperfect looking stuff. And like people like Asako or a Bulldozer Todoroki probably wouldn't make it through a ceiling training, obviously. And
or
but
even
they're
like
such an
in the Hota era, they would have been yelled at so badly.
Oh yeah. And to see them kind of come in and be an important part of these shows and kind of find a role where they're in, it's great, and it's exciting to see like that, and it allows them to grow along with the company and along with the other people. Even if they're not growing at the same rate or they don't have the same starting point, they may end up out like growing into more interesting and better performers than people who came through like a legitimate dojo, because they're alongside some people who have that kind of training, and they're there with people who are more willing to guide you through a match and more willing to guide you through things, and you wrestle with the same people over and over again. Like I said, it's part of it. For the upper card, it is an absolute like almost like frustrating thing to be stuck wrestling with the same people all the time and be on that schedule and be on it. But when you're training and when you're learning and when you're coming up, it's an incredible benefit. So the system is is flawed in many ways, but it also produces such interesting performers and in-ring performers and wrestlers, and it has since the beginning, even when it was the beginning. It always going to be something to keep an eye on, because there's always going to be something there worth watching.
Yeah. And I've seen some comments also about like, oh, because, if given the choice, these performers would probably choose somewhere else to start. But I would honestly say, like, again, in a weird way, it is the weird system Sakaguchi has created.
Yeah.
Someone like Yui Tenshoku, who would probably maybe never got in that ring because she wants to be a voice actress, is like, oh, I can do both. I can kind of balance both and just try both. I'll do this then.
Yeah,
like, we might not have Yui without.
Yeah, it seems like it's more inviting to talent, and the system. We talk about the it would be nice if they had contracts and stuff, but part of what makes it work is they're able to do that without a contract, and people are able to come in and at their own schedule, at their own leisure, and whether or not they enjoy it, they can leave, or they can, like Alan. Alan's got her sights set elsewhere for other things, and she left, and it's.
But at the same time, we had Alan. We had a little time with Alan, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's just that the system has, the system is what it is, and it's it's just gonna, have its faults, but it unequivocally, undeniably, Actwres Girls is still worth watching.
100%. They will continue to. I will continue to give them my patronage.
Yep.
And enjoy all of their work. They have Mari, so there's always that.
And even if it's like, even if I'm talking about like building new talent, and that's a great, like, it's a fun way to like watch talent grow.
Yeah.
But the talent that's there is so likable. It's so likable.
Yes.
And that's enough to say it's worth watching. And you add, they have more trainees coming. They have more people coming. They have people who are really, really new when it comes to like Nanami Togi, who I think has a great energy for wrestling. So it's gonna be worth keeping an eye on. So
I'm excited, and I think you nailed it. It is a promotion that will always, as long as it's around, will create something, again, talents that I don't think you'll see anywhere else. Yeah, maybe they all go on to do something else, but hey, look, like I said, I'm gonna go see. What am I seeing tonight? What am I saying? I'm gonna in roughly an hour. I'm about to go see Yuna Manase.
Heck yeah,
a few hours, and it's gonna be great. Yeah, so in a few hours I gotta go to Nishikawaguchi. I'm going to go to the Ice Ribbon Dojo, and I'm going to enjoy. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to enjoy regular Actwres Girls ref Bani Aikawa throwing a show that will involve Yuna Manase, and it's going to, Yuna has not been with Actwres Girls for a while, but she carries that flag. Again, she went on to do a lot of other things, and I'm excited to see the talent that has left, where they go. And it helps a lot that they are on a service that is very accessible.
Yep.
And I will continue to support them that way until they book a show in my area or something that's convenient. But that's it. That's all I can really think of now. I'm excited. I think there's a Shinkiba show coming up I might go to. We'll see. It might collide with Catch the Wave. Who knows? Maybe that's where we see certain cats show up at some point.
Ooh.
Bombade Wave, Wave Des, and I would love to see that as well in the future. So that's my final thoughts on the situation, at least up to now, and we'll see how it develops.
Yeah. Oh, don't have to wait much longer for the next stuff. We got Golden Week shows. We just had one, and then they're heading to Osaka for Comic-Con and for a show at 176 Inaroku Bucks.
That's right.
Which
the home of the forever Taishi Ishimori banner that one day I will unlock the story to.
And now the blue Misawa banner that's up there.
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
It may just
whatever,
be the
I'll be
lighting
sure.
that makes it look blue, but it's just very, very silly to have noticed that. But
I really like that venue. I want to know the story of that venue.
yeah, yeah. I want to get there one day. That's the
Yeah,
goal for
100%.
my next trip out to Japan.
Highly
That,
recommended. Yeah, if you're doing an Osaka trip, go to 176. It's not that hard to get to. But yeah, just a very interesting venue where I've seen where a lot of fantastic shows have happened in the past.
there's also going to be a Comic-Con in Osaka as well.
That's
So they
right.
have the ARG special stage, which is just the act ring. They'll
Right.
probably come out. They'll do a little battle scene. They'll do the intros for the
Yeah, and
groups.
potentially a good look at what's to come. You know.
Yeah, it'll be a fun thing because they're going to have the May 31st show as well. So it's always fun when they do these. And then
Yes.
Marino is hosting a cosplay crossover battle,
Yep.
which should be interesting. I really hope that there's a way for us to watch it. If not, but
I'm hoping it's at least recorded on someone's cell phone.
yeah, we'll see the pictures.
But
It'll be fun.
I don't know if I think we discussed this on the pre-chat.
Yeah.
But it looks like the current situation is Mari has shown off her Joker costume.
Yep.
It looks like Marino's decided to go with Power Girl. So she's not Squirrel Girl this time. She's gone with Power Girl, a classic white and red blue costume. So that's DC's not Supergirl, but technically Supergirl. What do we have? Mizuka has gone with the classic. You know,
I can't believe this one.
She knows. Yeah,
Going with her
Harley
usual
Quinn.
Harley Quinn, which is also her character in Fortnite.
Yeah, but you know what? That should pair well with Mari. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do we have? Okay, yeah. We have is this Nagisa?
Yep, Nagisa.
And Nagisa as a Scarlet Witch Marvel Universe version.
That looked like a really sick cosplay.
Yeah, really sick, really nice. Looks like she put some work into it.
Yep.
And then I think it's Tom Holland. I'm trying to judge by the hair. It's Naru in what looks like Tom Holland version of Spider-Man. And that's my take on it. Maybe Richard Garfield. The hair, I can't tell. And then I think this is inspired. It looks like Ren-san has decided to be Jeff Goldblum, the collector from the best Thor movie.
That's awesome.
I hope she can do it too. I want her to do the Jeff Goldblum mannerisms. She kind of does.
Oh yeah.
And just I almost went. I'm not gonna lie. I almost tried to book going all the way to Osaka for this. Just for. I mean, I would have caught the show obviously, but then I was like, I got to see this thing, and hopefully we all can.
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's gonna be fascinating.
Yeah. They're all really, really fun people, and like I don't know if any listeners watch the Fortnite streams. Even just the Fortnite streams are a blast with most of these people. So it should be a really fun time. Good energy with this crew, and definitely a nice way to step forward from all the BS of the last few months and the hard times, and now to just kind of have a fun little way to unwind. And Marino really, as I was saying before, Marino has such an opportunity to become more than just a wrestling or in-ring talent. Doing stuff like this kind of creativity and stuff, like she brings stuff from like a pretty prominent idol group and idol era. So, and she's got that mindset. Yeah. So she really is going to start doing stuff like this more, I think. And I'm really excited to see like these kinds of offshoots of what they do for Actwres.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely been more focused on the Actress Girls project, and now that she's got, it looks like more of a role or more space to get her ideas heard.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what she does.
Yep. And then the card for that Osaka show has been posted. So it's going to opening match should be Naho Yamada against Yufa.
I think that'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
Yufa just
Good to see Yufa
getting back into it recently. Yeah. I mean, she's I think still recovering a bit from her injury / health issues, but she's getting better.
Yep, and like she's a big part of Star Magical, so her being there makes sense. Riko Fukunaga and Sakura Mitsushima against Haruka Ishikawa and Ren-san.
I want to say, Haruka, another performer who's actually been around quite a while on the roster.
Yeah,
Not
really.
much, sometimes not enough space for her, but also she's
It's
also
not.
just
It's
busy
not
with
the.
acting.
Yeah, and she also. I don't know if she runs the venue, but she is a producer and a like lighting director for a music venue in Tokyo. I believe in
Yes,
Tokyo.
yes. So she
So
has a
she's
lot of other
very
responsibilities.
busy. Yeah, she's a very busy person when it comes to
But
stuff like
again,
that. She also has her own
if
performances.
yes, but you know what? If she wants, there is now space for her
Yeah.
to increase her time in Actress Girl,
Yeah,
which I would
she's
be
been open with saying
all
that like
for.
she's doing it at her own pace. And again, she's someone that like this system works incredibly well for. I couldn't see her
Exactly.
pulling this off in like a TJPW.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Oh, I mean,
yeah,
TGW, she'd have to like sacrifice everything except for maybe one outside thing,
yeah,
and that'd be it. You know.
they run shows so often, so it's
Yep.
uh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great team together. Haruka's like low key like better than you would think considering the
Yep.
amount of matches she's had just because she's been around for as long. She just doesn't get the spotlight as much because she's just not on every show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Rico and Sakura is a great team. That should be a fun
Yeah. That. Yeah.
team to watch, especially with the new personality of Rico now that she's out of Beasts. And then we've got man, is this right? Act against Nene?
I
That's
believe so.
awesome. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah. It'd be
awesome.
fantastic. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one because you've got another beast on beast match. It should be interesting. These act single matches have been fantastic. The ones
Yeah,
that she's
and
been
I think
doing.
she's really trying to help. Again, she said, "I'm going to take a leadership role here. We
Yeah.
need some leadership."
Yep. And then we've got the tag of Nagisa and Natsuki, the
Yep.
just amazing comment, and then against Naru and Marino. It's another
Yep.
great pairing there. A lot of good energy there. Mari and Kyoka against me and Ayano as the main event.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Mari and Kyoka is an interesting pairing, a cool pairing, one I like. And then me and Ayano, just an old school Actwres pairing.
Classic pairing. Yeah.
That's going to be a fun one because Mari and Kyoka, like Kyoka's kind of trying to find her spot. Mari is kind of the maybe the ace apparent right now.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
me and Ayano are going to be like, nope. We're actually the old guard, and we're the ones who are going to take this. So that's going to be fun. And then after that, we got Step 42, and that card is Kanamiku against Chi Aoba as the opening.
Yep.
Cool to see Chi. Always good to see Chi.
Chi again, relatively limited experience, but her last few matches have really shown growth. I've been impressed.
Absolutely. And then Kanamiku.
I could see her doing a Kanamiku level of
absolutely.
all of a sudden just spiking in talent.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kanamiku is just a great pairing against her, so it's perfect. And then you have Rico and Kira An against Kyoka and Ren. Finally, like the official reboot of Ice starts here.
Yeah.
So that's and Rico and Kira is again. We talked about the shoot fighters. Now they're together here. Should be a cool dynamic there. You have the shoot fighter of Actwres and Kira. You have Rico who's starting to take more and more of the kicks and the groundwork. That's a great pairing. And then Kyoka and Ren. We're going to finally see what's going to happen with there. We're finally going to get that story.
Yes. Yes.
And we got the update team of Nagisa and me against Ayano and Nene.
Yep.
So update against Beasts. Maru against Bulldozer.
Ooh.
That could be anything, and I'm looking forward to it. Maru doesn't pull punches even when they're against teammates, and maybe even throws them harder when they're against teammates. So seeing what happens with Bulldozer, who's going to be probably out of her element in that match, it's going to be great. It's going to be good because we've seen Maru. I guess Maru has had star-making performances in Actwres before when it comes to Chiaki, Kyoka, Cat Mask, and now Bulldozer. It's gonna be an interesting one to watch, and it could go any way. It could just be a complete like mess of a match, and it very well might be, and that will be entertaining because of the two people who are involved.
Yes, absolutely.
And then we see the tag team of Mari and Act, which has been an interesting thing because Mari has been posting like, oh, cool, like gonna be teaming with Act, this is gonna be great, and Act's like, well, I didn't shake your hand to be friends, I shook your hand because to make a deal that will work together, that kind of stuff. So it's a reluctant Act for the tag tournament instead of Mari. So that's gonna be interesting to Act no matter what, and they've been fun to watch as they've teamed recently, and they're going up against Sakura and Marino, which is another just great pairing of two this generation debuts. So
I mean, for me, any chance that I might get Mari and Act as a tag team again, I am happy.
Yeah, exactly. So they got two really good cards coming up, two future focused cards. You have Act doing the single stuff. You have, and then like Act and Sakura and Marino, really going to be an interesting way to see how she amplifies them too. So
yes,
really looking forward to those shows. And so the like I said, Actwres is still worth paying attention to. These shows are still worth watching. These shows are going to be really interesting. They're still building to the future. Storylines that happened before the departures are still going on. The people who are, they're people who are still there. It's going to be just a good ride.
And for me, again, I'm excited because I think when Marigold finally opens up, when they finally start doing their shows, people are going to see like, these talents came from Actress Girls, and hopefully that people will decide we should probably go see what Actress Girls is up to if they're producing talents like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you, folks, it's nice that Julia got in there and I don't know, show them the ropes or whatever. But they did not become like that overnight.
No, and it wasn't a month of, or like half a month of just training in their dojo. It was 2.5 years, and for some even more of building towards this. The 6 left are very special performers. Koki, there's no one else like Koki out there. I know I said like Yui gives me some of those vibes, but there's really no one else like Koki out there.
No,
Misa, maybe you can make some comparisons to some other fast wrestlers, but I feel like she's got a very unique set of skills too.
Yes.
Miku is an ace in any company you put her in. Yep. Miku could do that. Same with Sumikawa. And she has such a unique and amazing story that I, told on the last podcast, and I told through a music video, and I continually tell anyone who listened to me.
And I'm just gonna give you a little shout out here. One of my favorite videos is your Sumikawa video.
Thank you. Also, I wanted to just chat real quick. It's Golden Week. You've been to some cool stuff, and I know we're always talking about Actwres Girls. This is an Actwres Girls podcast, but just wanted to ask.
Yes, I actually started the Golden Week with Step 41. I got a half day against everyone's wishes against them in my company who didn't want me to do it, but screw them. And what else? So after that, it was the weekend. I caught obviously the amazing Oz Academy.
Yeah, I watched that live. It was fantastic.
Go seek that out, guys. If you want to talk about drama, Mayumi Ozaki reminds you that she is maybe history's greatest villain and pro wrestling's greatest hero. And Miyamoto, even in loss, this is one of the most compelling human beings ever created.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic match.
Talk about people that like you can't help but cheer for. She's just that. Yeah, and the tag match on that was good with was it Momoka and Yoniyama?
Yeah, that tag match, fantastic.
Yeah, finish was insane.
The finish was crazed. I really enjoyed that. Again, apparently broke Mei Suruga's heart because Momo says she's like to win the titles with Yone.
Oh no!
Oh
no!
And which then led to me actually going to Gato after, which was
Oh yeah,
up.
I saw you guys on the stream.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't catch Choco Pro or Gato as much as I often did in the past, but every time I go, it's a great time.
Yeah,
Was great to see Chie back. I hadn't seen her live since she was injured, and always a treat. The sisters came back after the unfortunate passing of their father.
Yep.
Very sad situation, but they were as energetic as ever. They wanted to perform. Fantastic. W Sayaka was amazing. Although again, the highlight might have been Antonio Honda's. I'm not going to ruin it, but it is maybe one of the greatest tributes to Terminator 2 of all time. Apparently completely unplanned, because if you see Aki and you can see Aki kind of cracking, but off camera, Masa was just on the floor almost, just crying with laughter.
Amazing.
Because he could not comprehend what was happening, and his tag partner had gone to these distances. But yeah, fantastic show. Followed by Diana Karakuin, another fantastic show. It's May Sarah.
Ooh.
Who was her debut opponent with a tag match. It was her and Sari versus Iroha and May Hoshiki at the time, or no Hoshiki?
Hoshizuki.
What was Hoshizuki? Thank you.
Hoshizuki. Yep.
Yeah. And both of them have come such a long way, but that main event was fantastic. Another great match I recommend you seek out. And that the 10-man tag is ridiculous. The 10-man tag match in that show, as well as Veni and Sarah Risa putting on another great tag match with Miran. And yeah, another great one to see. And then going to YMZ. YMZ always a blast. Talk about creativity and weirdness.
Oh yeah. I've seen Ishiguro do some very strange things in that promotion.
A little bizarre. And yeah, the highlight of that match. I mean, it was a great show overall, but the highlight being Mashiro Yuki versus Yoneyama. Two just ridiculous human beings being ridiculous. A little bit harder to get a hold of that one, but I do recommend, if you are perusing the YMZ site in the store in the future, that is one I would recommend taking a look at. I think you can reach out to Masaki, YMZ Masaki, if you're interested in getting hold of shows. It's kind of more of a kind of ask request deal nowadays. Hopefully they get our service in the future. But yeah, that was fantastic. Mashiro is Mashiro as ever. I'm glad she's back for however long we have her this time. And Yoneyama will probably never retire. Also, congratulations. I saw Momotani. I don't know if we covered it. We've actually mentioned her a few times. But congratulations to her getting married.
Congratulations.
To her childhood friend. So fantastic.
That's awesome.
And we'll be moving to... Yeah, I'm so happy because she's literally someone who says, I'm going to have it all. And she is. She will be moving to Kansai. Nice. So we won't see her in Tokyo as much, but we'll continue to wrestle and act freelance as an actor, still in Pure J. She will continue as a member of Pure J roster.
Cool.
So expect her to show up there from time to time, as well as wrestling in Kansai. So
yeah,
that's it. And then I'm off to the Bani Aikawa show tonight. It is Bani's 5th anniversary. I believe she's counting from when she debuted, winning the Triangle Championship as a referee. So there's that, and I'm looking forward to her main event, because it is her and Mizuki Watase versus Imanari and Yappy, her fellow wrestling circle class. I believe they basically started training together around the same time.
Yeah, so that match card, like, that's going to be awesome. So
yeah, and
should be
fantastic
really cool.
match. Hopefully recorded somewhere and shown in the future. That's it, yeah. And then I got a couple. I'm doing Ice Ribbon, and we'll see how it pans out. I might end up catching that act wrestling show. I might do Catch the Wave. We'll have to see, but
cool.
Yeah, the Golden Week wrestling run has begun. So look forward to some feedback when it's all done the next time we do this, and in a month when it
Yep.
Act Wrestling is in its sixth generation.
7 generations.
So we're gonna be 7 generations of Act Wrestling ahead.
Yep.
Talking about how Naru is now the Princess Champion somehow. And just wondering how any of
And
it happened.
Haruka Ishikawa was the AEW Women's Champion.
Yeah. TBS TV champion.
What happened there?
It's been a month.
True.
Happened again, guys.
What happens in
Here we are.
Actwres, girls?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, the next time we chat for the podcast, it's not an abrupt thing. We don't have to talk about drama or tragedy. Just talk about act wrestling and
Act Wrestling.
stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
I have a couple of things that I want to try to work on, including maybe some video content for YouTube, for the YouTube channel. It'll be on the AWBoy'Z YouTube channel, I think is where I would put it. Some more historical Actwres stuff, some video stuff. I'm not sure how I want to do it because, like I said, Sakaguchi's kind of frustrating with the rights. I don't even know who owns the rights to these shows. We'll see what it'll do. And then I have a couple of sets of things I want to do when it comes to that, and maybe keep an eye out for that too. I don't know if I'll get it in or done, or even kind of done, or even maybe it's going to be one episode. It might be like 5 or 6 episodes. I really don't know what's going to shake out to be. I've started working on it, so maybe something will be out by the next time we talk. Maybe it won't. But I just need the time to do it, and I finally have a weekend where I don't have to do anything this week.
Nice.
So I'm going to start working on that stuff. And as much as there's drama and there's some people who don't agree with the way things were done and all that, I'm looking forward to Marigold as a fan. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing Shozuki and Koki and Misa and everyone just really spread their wings finally without the restrictions of the Actwres system. I'm just looking forward to it. I want to clear the air as like a person, just to be like, I think that Marigold's existence is going to be a positive for wrestling in general, and especially for talent, because it's
support more variety in pro wrestling. I will always support that.
And part of why I stopped watching Stardom, because it just got very, I guess, stale or just samey or just not my vibe. And I think that just having a competitor in that space at that level may be exactly what we need to really make things interesting across the whole spectrum. So I'm really looking forward to it. And maybe it isn't for me, maybe it is for me, but everything that they've done so far has been decisions that have been like, oh man, this seems like it's going to be for me. So I'm looking forward to it in a big way.
Put it on a service that is relatively easy to navigate.
Yes, one I already have. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it, and I feel like that some of the Actwres fans are understandably not on board, but I'm gonna make an appeal to you guys. We're not cheering for the name on the canvas. We're not cheering for office people. We're cheering for the people in the ring.
That's right.
We want to see them all succeed. And they made a big leap, a big jump, and something that I wish I had the guts to do at times, right? There are some things I would love to do, and I know we've talked about it.
You're talking about it, yeah.
It's very, very difficult, and for especially someone like a Chika Goto to make this leap, I can't do anything but applaud them. Maybe things could have been done differently. Things could have been done a little bit more but there are two sides to this story, and there is one. We know that one of them is very stubborn, and I don't know, but I just want to see everyone come out of this stronger. I think even Actwres Girls can come out of this stronger. Is Actwres Girls in a better state now than it was when Fuka joined? I don't know. And that's a big statement, because when Fuka joined, it was only year and a half ago. And what she did since then was grow it and grow that undercard talent so brilliantly that 6 people leaving just kind of put it back to where it was when she came in. Where if she took those 6 people what instead of coming in and she just took those 6 people right then, there would have been no saving the promotion. I would feel, or at least it would have been way harder than it is now, where so much has been established. So yeah, I think that they're actually in a pretty good spot. It's a spot they've been in before, and the future is bright for them. And it's something that, if you're a fan of Actwres Girls, you've been through this and you've from before the reboot. I know a lot of people have gotten in since, but if you're a fan of Actwres Girls from the, it's something that's happened before, and they've just continually grown new talent. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm looking forward to Marigold as a fan of professional wrestling. Not emotionally on the 15th, I was like, oh, this sucks, like F Rossi. But now I'm looking forward to it. I'm on board.
And again, I'm not here for Rossi Ogawa. I am here
me
for
neither.
The talent.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not, but yeah, that's it. But do you have anything you want to plug? I just plugged my stuff.
I mean, like I said, I will listen to this podcast multiple times. I will try to reactivate my other podcast where I just talk about random garbage. Like example,
it's entertaining. It's good. It's Chris's schedule is insane, as you just heard. He's gonna see a lot of good stuff. So
I would like to talk about that show I saw, the Yavai show I saw in a burlesque venue, which was fascinating and involved some of my favorite talents. And yeah, the weirdness of it. Video was allowed, so I talk about YouTube video. I have been thinking about doing a YouTube video where I splice together and kind of comment on what it was like to watch pro wrestling in a burlesque show, which involved probably way too much of Ricky Fuji's butt than I need ever to see. But was fascinating. I think is worth a chat about. So if I'll probably get around to doing that at some point, maybe after this whole Golden Week rush is done.
Yeah,
and hopefully catch another Act Wrestling show coming up for sure. So
cool.
Hopefully have more to talk about then. And of course, I'm looking forward to the shows released from this weekend.
Yep,
that's about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're at 4 hours almost on this one.
Okay. Good luck editing this.
I don't even know what I can edit out because it was a great conversation and some really good in-depth look at the history of the promotion. And that's kind of what I wanted to set out to do, was kind of see what was the things in motion that, caused this. So I think we really hit on it. And I don't think there's much that we could really trim out, and we even have excitement about the future. And I don't want to split that into 2 episodes. So I think we're just going to ask people to listen to a very long episode. So,
guys, it's a podcast. You can pause it. You can always come back to it.
Yeah. And well, we're at this point we're talking at the end of it. So, thanks for listening for 4 hours almost of us chatting. We're really appreciate it, and we're going to continue to support Actwres Girls. We're going to continue to support the people who make Actwres Girls a special place and have made it over the years. So
we're gonna hope change, improvement.
Yeah, we're gonna hope
every promotion can use improvement.
Yes.
Tetsuya Koda open the forbidden door, and let another cat in or something.
So yeah, we'll see how everything shakes out. The future's future's always unwritten. We never know how things are gonna go, and
100%.
It's exciting to be a fan right now of Joshi wrestling. Even if you were upset about the Actwres departures and stuff, it's still an exciting time because now you have so much to look forward to with people scrambling up the card. And if you're a fan of people like Natsumi Sumikawa and Miku Aono and Koki, you're going to see them finally without, the training wheels or whatever of Actwres Girls on, and they're going to go and they're going to shine elsewhere, and they're going to be on a bigger stage. So there's so much to be excited about if you are a fan of Actwres Girls. So yeah,
for me, it's definitely not so much training wheels, but I think it's more the ability to fight other styles, other people outside your system.
I think it's just more a
huge deal.
Yeah, I think it's just outside of the bubble, really.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And that bubble for me has maybe been one of the harshest things to deal with.
yeah, yep. And I'm sure the talent agree.
Also,
So
someone please book. I don't care who. Someone please book Haruka Umasaki versus Misa again. I'd like to see that again.
please.
Please,
So
dear
yeah,
God.
thanks again for listening.
Yeah, thanks everyone for
4 hours
got it.
of
Yeah,
of
I don't.
of just a lot of historical stuff. I hope it really sunk in and you really kind of understand everything that happened over the time that led to this. So with
Yes.
that, I think we gotta just salute our favorite ninja. She's still there. She's still
Yeah.
one of the most important people, maybe the most important person there. And I think if change is gonna come, it's gonna come from her. She's gonna push for things because she's been vocal about things as well. I'm really
Yeah.
hoping that a new future with Mari at the helm, still at the helm, but now with the hindsight of the recent occurrence will lead to real change. So yeah, thanks for listening and praise Mari.
Hey, Mario, pinkies up, guys. We're still here. We still out here.
Still here. Praise Mari.
Praise Mari.